not going to be capitalized on yet with Hayward Bridge, but maybe Ivan's going to do it now. Back for Darkpool!
On the pass with Kaka with the mercy pick, but stopped by Inspire. Jovan trying to make it double tap, makes it in the net.
Will be a chance in from Twister, but he's been sent for a ride by Twinzer, and now the ball across!
Doesn't make it work because Yuva takes the ball back to his teammate Pingu trying to shoot, but doesn't connect. The double tap from Ryzen will connect. It connects, and their first goal for Labos.
I see no reason why they wouldn't take that timeout, but if they do get a goal, there's some momentum going forwards, and maybe this is the one! Kaka over the top. Fire, wave dash, gets the better of one. Gets the triple! Inspire with the mechanics. Let's watch this again.
This is Rocket League, and not just any Rocket League. It is the Rocket League Championship Series, the pinnacle of competition in this esport. Welcome to it. Hello to all our regular viewers on Twitch, and importantly, from today, hello and welcome to viewers on DSTV Esport, where the Rocket League Championship Series makes its broadcast debut. For all of those who will be watching Rocket League for the very first time, you are in for a delight. Rocket League is the world's most visually entertaining and mechanically difficult esport. It's pretty easy to get a grasp of the basics and to be delighted by the high-level play. So whether you watch esport regularly or play Rocket League, or you're a parent, a regular sports person, maybe you play board games, or maybe you're just a card shark, you will find your fix of entertainment right here. The first game kicks off at 5 p.m. and in the time leading up to that game, we are going to do our best to tell you everything you need to know about Rocket League and the Championship Series being played this weekend. My name is Greybeard. I will be the host for this weekend, today and tomorrow. And alongside me on the panel to introduce the weekend and bring you all the action as it happens are the Bromeo, MachtFISCH, and Ultrazim. And you'll get to meet Pyro J a little later. He will be the co-commentator, caster on the very first game. So, gentlemen, here we are, and given the fact that we are on DSTV, it feels like a bit of an introduction is necessary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell everybody who on earth you guys are, and then I want you guys to tell a little bit of the story of what has led us here. So on the far side of me is Ultrazim. He's a man, a South African, lives in Durban, has been part of the Rocket League scene in this country since the very, very beginning. And then MachtFISCH out of Germany, been a part of sub-Saharan Africa in terms of bringing the story of Rocket League in this region to all of our viewers. And then the Bromeo, the closest we have to straight out of Benoni, a local homegrown man, and very much the analyst, statistician, the deeper numbers of Rocket League. And gentlemen, I want you all to tell us about yourselves, be a little bit of the Rocket League story. But I'm going to start with you, Ultrazim, because you have been there since competition was about a pizza for first prize. We've come a long way since then.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Greybeard, because it has been the story, and it's been so close to my heart since the beginning. You know, I've been playing games for the last 30 years of my life, roughly, but Rocket League has that passion. It has that spark towards it, and it's grown from very humble beginnings. I mean, you mentioned it there. First tournament, I used to play competitively very long ago back in the day, and it really was. A pizza was the best prize that you could hope for in the country, and we grew up. We were relegated to the basements of the biggest competitions in the world or in the country. We moved on to very small prize pools. We started having little tournaments at a casino here or there, and it was showcased on to 20 people, then to 50 people. And as the years have gone on, I mean, we've been doing this for 10 years here. And then 4 years ago, the big break that we were all looking for. RLCS, the biggest competition in the world, came to South Africa, came to our shores, and it has lit a spark here in South Africa. We've seen youngsters starting to grind this. They've started to look up to pros and go, one day, I'm going to be on that stage. And there's a reason why I retired and moved into the casting booth. That's inspiration has led to the development of our local scene in an exorbitant way, and you guys will get to see. You don't even understand what the mechanics are at this stage, especially if you're new to Rocket League. What they're doing, they make it look so simple, but the amount of hours that these guys put in there and the passion that they go through it. And now we get to be actually on DSTV. We're going mainstream with this. If this really is the first time that you guys are getting to see Rocket League, I cannot wait for you to fall in love with it like so many of us have. And maybe this is the start of your Rocket League journey, because I would love for this to now inspire new people to join us on these ranks.
And so coming out of the pizza days where it was all just fun and games and having a great time, back in 2021, in September 2021, the news came almost out of the blue that Sub-Saharan Africa would have the opportunity to compete in the Rocket League Championship Series, which up until that moment had only been open to North America, to Europe, and to Australia, New Zealand, and the Oceania region. And then suddenly Asia Pacific, Sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East, North Africa, and South America were brought into the global family of competitive Rocket League. And overnight, Romeo, we went from pizza as a first prize to the highest paid esport in South Africa, in Sub-Saharan Africa, upward close to 2 million rand in prize money per year. And that changed everything about what Rocket League meant to people in this region who play it.
100% Greybeard. I can't attest to the pizza because nobody's ever offered me any. But I could say, having arrived more recently to the scene, it is very easy to see why this is the fastest growing esport in South Africa from top to bottom. But we are here today for RLCS, right? And here's the down low if you're new to this. RLCS stands for the Rocket League Championship Series. It's the official top-tier competitive league for Rocket League, which is organized by Psyonix, the game's developer. And this is a global competition, like Greybeard said. Everybody in the world is competing around the same time for a shot at Worlds. Now, the format is multiple opens like today, then majors that opens count towards, and a world championship. Opens like this are qualifications events towards majors, and majors are the events leading up to the massive RLCS World Championship at the end of the year. So we are currently in Open 4 of the Rally Major, as you can see here on screen. And it has a points system for ranking teams. So teams earn points throughout the season based on their performance. And the top teams based on points qualify for major events and the World Championship.
And I guess a quick distinction, an important distinction to make is today's competition is played online. So players are either boot camping, which means they're all together somewhere, but they're playing online against others. And then the major tournaments are played offline, in person, where, and you'll see this is called the Rally, the Rally Open, because the offline tournament is being played in Rally in the United States later in June, and that's what the players are playing toward to secure a spot there. We are in our 4th season of the Rocket League Championship Series. SSA has been part of it for now 4 seasons. And MachtFISCH, we're halfway through the 2025 season. We've already had 3 opens that happened from January. Then we had a break, and now we're at the start for that final rush to the end of the season and the World Championship coming up in September this year.
Yeah, and that means that we already sort of know the teams that are going to be here in 2025. We know who our top contenders are. We know who the challengers are. But also, most importantly, now that the first split, the Birmingham Major, has concluded, everything resets. We work our way through to Raleigh. So the standings that you see here, those are the overarching standings that are going to count towards Worlds. But we're not going to care about them a lot until that until the Raleigh Major really has concluded, because that's then just going to finish out which team, which representative from the Sub-Saharan African region makes it to the World Championship in September in Lyon in France. And there is a favorite, and that has to be said. That is, of course, the team that is leading the standings, FUT Esports, a team made out of 3 Spaniards, but also sharp competition. It does seem like an 18-point gap is insurmountable, but let me tell you, dear viewers, it is far from that. Limitless is well within a shot. They have not beaten them yet, but every time it's been close.
And it's probably worth having a quick look at all of our at the main teams in contention for this major over the next 3 spots. There are teams that have competed since the start of the season and have been consistently very good. And obviously it reflects in the standings that you see there: FUT Esports, Limitless, Hayworth Riz, Cosmico Esports, Labos, and then Akimbo making a bit of a debut here. But so we have, so for some context for this tournament, 66 teams signed up. There are 3 players per team, so around 180 players that signed up for the qualifying weekend, which happened last weekend. And out of those 66 teams, 16 made the main event. And that main event started last night, where that field of 16 was shaved down to 8. And those 8 will be competing today. And it's like any competition, you slowly cut the field until there can be only one. And there you see these are the games that were played last night with the teams, which then cut it down to the eight teams that we see here. There were 2 groups, 8 in each group, and you see the bracket there, and it was similar for Group B. And it kind of brings us to where we are here today. And MachtFISCH, if you take us through what we can expect to see today in terms of format.
I mean, in terms of format, we can see it on the screen as well. We have a bit of a hybrid system going on. We start in the lower side of the bracket. Lower bracket, round 1. Labos, 77 blocks, Akimbo Esports, and Relentless. Those teams do not have any more safety nets to their name. If they lose, they are out. And they finished this regional in the 7th and 8th position. That is a shared positional finish. Then we move to what remains of the upper bracket with Hayworth Riz, Limitless, Cristobal Colon, and FUT Esports. Those teams, it doesn't really matter if they lose or win, because they will still be here and still be with us tomorrow. If they win, they secure themselves at least a top 4 placement. If they lose, they're going to have to play in that quarterfinals matchup. It's especially for traditional sports viewers, it's a bit of a weird system to get used to, but don't worry, we'll guide you through it. And at the end of the day, you're going to be experts in this sort of hybrid bracket and in that sort of hybrid format.
At its heart, Rocket League is a very simple game. There are 2 teams, 3 players per team. There's a blue side, there's an orange side. The orange side needs to score in the blue goal. The blue side needs to score in the orange goal. The team with the most points wins in the end. There are 9 series to be played this weekend. 4 of them will be today, 5 of them tomorrow, before we crown the regional or the open number 4 champion. Each game, all of these are going to be best of 7. A Rocket League game is 5 minutes long. They play best of 7 in each series, which means a team to win the series has to win 4 of those 5-minute games. And there we have our schedule for today, starting off with Labos versus 77 blocks. And MachtFISCH, Labos are English, correct?
Labos.
Labos.
They're mixed. They're mixed European.
Mixed, okay.
So not really one nation per se. We've got an Englishman, a Scotsman, and a Dutchie on that roster with an American coach. So we're going full. We're going full international. We're going intercontinental even.
All right. Well, now that kind of brings us to today in terms of we see there that first match is going to be Labos versus 77 Blocks. Ultrasm 77 Blocks have been playing in SSA RLCS since last season, and last season did very well. They were contenders, but then at the start of the season struggled. Didn't make main event early on, but they seem to have kind of maybe just a little cold, needed a running start at the season.
You know, they were one of the first international teams to come to the region, and so they really did have a nice foot in the door. They managed to get the lay of the land a little bit, and they are fantastic players in their own right. You know, I look at the combination of Twinza and Twister in that side, and their entire structure relies on their aerial game. They're very quick into there. They've got such good car control. But as you've seen more and more of these tourists here to South Africa, there has been a lot of competition for them. And so I don't believe that there's anything wrong with their game style. I don't think that they've dropped off at any stage, but the competition has just become so much more fierce. And now we're starting to see everyone kind of take a reshuffle as to where you can end up at the end of the season. And I think in terms of who they are going up against today, Labos is a formidable opponent. So they're going to need to be on their absolute best to really take a chance at staying alive in this competition.
Staying alive. And the chat vote is open, so those watching on Twitch, you can get your prediction and you can wager channel points for who you believe will win this opening series. Hashtag LB for Labos, hashtag 77B for 77 Blocks. And so far, Labos taking 66% of the vote. And now we get the team comparisons overall. And Bromeo, this is kind of your wheelhouse here in terms of stats. Not much separating them there, but the all-important win rate in favor of 77 Blocks.
So this is an interesting stat because although 77 Blocks historically has won more and finished better, Labos right now is the team in form. They had a top 8 finish in the last Open at the Birmingham Open number 3, and they also beat 77 Blocks in the Birmingham Open number 3. So it is an interesting stat because Labos are technically the favorites in this one, although 77 Blocks with Twinza, Twister, and Badness are an incredible team right now.
And there we see the players side-by-side comparison. Who are the big performers? And I know, without allowing your bias to shine through too hard there, MachtFISCH, who are the standout players for you in this matchup?
I mean, it's difficult to give us a standout player for Labos because they are working together as a unit. No one really has a fixed role on that roster per se, so it's very fluid, it's very dynamic. On the other hand, 77 Blocks is much easier to define. You've got the offensive magician in the Belgian Badness, and then you got Twinza and Twister who sort of take turns defensively to hold down the fort to make sure that Badness is given enough space, and that is really the 77 Blocks game plan. Enable the Belgian, because if he's on fire, you can see that 1 goal per game, that is an outrageously high value, and same with 34% shooting accuracy. His offensive prowess is the lifeblood of that roster.
You know, this Greybeard, I think, is a good time, especially for our new viewers, to like kind of understand how Rocket League flows a little bit more. There aren't set positions. You don't have a goalkeeper and a striker and a wing or anything like that, like traditional soccer. With only 3 people on the field, you have to be a fluid team to work. And I love the fact that for 77 Blocks, they do have a little bit more structure like that, or at least a win condition that they can play towards. But when you have Twinza and Twister as, quote unquote, your defensive players, both of those guys have such good potential to put on individual mechanical performances. They can take it the entire length of the field. They can dribble 2 or 3 people, force out a lot of resources from your opponents. So the fact that there's 2 people kind of sitting back a little bit, you always know one of them is going to kind of try and link up with Badness, and the other one is very comfortable in sitting in that more defensive position.
So chat vote is still going strong. Currently, Labos still at 68%. So either players feeling Twitch chat feeling very confident that Labos have got the makings of 77 blocks, or Labos just have a lot of fans in Twitch chat. Either way, that's where it's leaning right now. I don't know how we're feeling here on the panel, on the desk, and if Twitch chat have got it right. You think they're cooking their Romeo, or where do you go in terms of your prediction?
This is going to be an interesting one. It is historically in favor of Labos, and Inspire has been playing so well for Labos in that supporting role. So if he backs up his talk today again, I would favor Labos for a win. It will be close, though, I think. So I'd say 4-2, 4-3.
4-2-4-3. Okay, so a game 6, game 7ish. So it'll be, but Labos, you favor Labos to take it. Ultrazim, after everything you've just said and had to say about 77 blocks, where do you come out on this?
Until about 12 seconds ago, I still didn't quite know in this, I must admit. It's going to be an intense one. I think 77 blocks, what I love about their game style is that they are so good in defense. I mean, they kind of live up to that name, 77 blocks. They tend to put on that many saves in a game, where we've seen a lot of teams really struggle to find the back of their net. It can end up being a very low-scoring affair in a lot of oppositions. But 77 my apologies, Labos has shown good offense. Then again, their path through the Swiss stage where they went 3-0 was against not the pinnacle of the field that they had to deal with. So have they really been tested? I don't know. 77 blocks, they're coming in fresh. They keep their nerve about them on this at the beginning of the weekend. I think that actually 77 blocks could take this. It's still going to be late, though, all the way to Game 7, but I'm nervous about this one.
You took the longest possible way to get to that result.
That's what's going on in my mind, though. There's so much chaos and unpredictability about this.
MachtFISCH, Ultram's left you with very little time. So, LeBlocks or 77 Bosch?
I'm going to be a bit tribalistic on this one. I'm going to support my compatriots in the endeavor. So 77 blocks for me. But I very much want to echo Ultrazim's sentiment that it's going to be a very close series. LeBosch may be the slight favorite on paper, but if 77 blocks can hit their stride, they are a team with momentum that is incredibly difficult to beat. So for me, 77 blocks just have the higher peak potential.
Well, then it comes down to me, and the answer is obvious, because just from an OCD perspective, we're going to split it right down the middle, and two of us will be right, two of us will be wrong. And so you all know we do keep a little bit of a score in the background, to who gets our predictions right or wrong. I'm going to go with LeBosch. I think they will do it, and I see in our production chat that our co-caster who's waiting to catch and take this game forward, Pyro J, has also gone for LeBosch, though. He's predicting a 4-2 scoreline. It is best of 7. We get to it right now. The first in anger for today. LeBosch, 77 blocks. Take to the field right now.
Well, it's wonderful to be bringing you our first match of virtual car soccer in the game we love called Rocket League. For the RLCS, kicking us off today are LeBosch and 77 blocks, two teams that have peaked at top 6 this season. With a win here, could tie that season record. Altruism, it's great to have you here for the chat, as we know it's not going to be an easy road for either of these teams.
Man, Pyro, you are perfectly correct on this. There are no easy games from here on out. Either of these teams could feasibly take this. I know the panel was split. Even Twitch chat was split straight down the center. And both will have fire in their veins in the pursuit of their best performance yet. More importantly, each trio is looking to defend their honor and ensure that they keep their tournament lives intact. They have at least 20 minutes separating them from that top 6 spots, and it all begins now in game number 1.
Well, here we go. LeBosch are starting off well right from the get-go. This is a team that went up against one of the giants recently and didn't perform all that bad of Limitless. but still couldn't take more than a game off of them. They're looking to reach that pinnacle, reach maybe the top 3 of the region, and as they reach for the stars, they'll start off with that lead.
Well, Daze has a fitting goal explosion there at the end there because he has unlocked the puzzle and he has found a way through. It's only taken 30 seconds in this game and it puts Labos up on the right track to what they want to do. 77 blocks. I was touting their defensive capabilities, Pyro, and right there was a little consternation at the beginning.
Yeah, I think right off the kickoff, 77 blocks just never really got their feet set. We talk about in Rocket League so often, the rotations. How often in defense can you play your role and move to the back post, the front post, to guard the net as much as you can? 77 blocks just never really got their feet set in that department. But now we're seeing that back and forth altruism. Now we're seeing 77 blocks ready their stance.
Yep. For you guys who are watching Rocket League for the first time, or maybe you're not too familiar with the game, we will try and keep it somewhat beginner-friendly and talk about what the small little intricacies are, because there really is, Pyro J, a balance of a margin of millimeters in this game, or inches, I guess, if you are from the US. Right now, this little tussle in the center, it looks like chaos, but there's the micro little bit of momentum being gathered here from 77 blocks. A nice challenge, keeps the ball in front of the blue net, and Badness, the offensive powerhouse, takes towards the sky, gets a great bump, sets it up for Twinzer, and he's gonna put it home with no mistake.
Sometimes the best play can be made off the ball. Badness leaves it after the aerial to bump the final defender and leave the route open for his teammate to clean up. Easy pickings for 77 blocks.
Easy pickings, brings them back in. I think that'll settle their nerves. They had a rough little start, and Badness once more cleanly picks this up, takes so high into the air, pulls up Ryzen with him, and still got teammates behind them. Twister just baits out 2 into the air. Labos suddenly weaker on their backline. Again, the ball kept high and out of reach. Badness waiting for the clear attempt. Gonna try and make another attempt, but spots out Inspires rally into this, and 77 blocks just have to rotate back. They've done a great job of returning to their own baseline, and they're going to set themselves up for one more opportunity.
Oh, Twinzer had that flick ready to go, but delayed it with the defender incoming. And a play had to be made there by Twister to save that ball. I'm really wondering at this point if blocks are going to be back in time, though, because Inspire just sniped this from the half-court line.
He got too much distance up the line on that, and Twinzer desperately trying to come around, and I think he was caught off guard by his teammates' lack of clear and potential. And it means that 77 blocks again just fail on where their strength truly lies. That back line being taken advantage of. Now they've got work to do to get back into this with half the game to go.
Yeah, where are those 77 blocks on the goal line? They're missing a few. They've got a couple gaps there, it seems. And I'm wondering, Altruism, because we talked so much in the pre-show, 77 blocks, they're these aerial warriors. But Labos started off with that nice double tap, and they've been looking pretty good in the air as well. I'm wondering who can really take that title in this competition.
Yeah, the speed out of Labos has been a big part of why they're having some success right now. They've stopped 77 blocks from having any sort of space. They're up to the challenge. These physical bumps are getting involved, and Badness has to make a desperate last-second save, but they do find themselves a tiny bit of breathing room. But again, it's the quick challenges out of Labos that's causing problems for them.
Yeah, the swiftness is always taken into consideration by which team is really dictating the pace. And wow, I thought it would be certainly Labos to have that title as they nearly scored on the turnaround. 77 blocks, almost doing that as well. Twinzer has got too far forward. That's allowed Daze to get a solo play off the ceiling. Extra flip to the backboard, but no route to the net. 77 blocks have impressed me with their speed as well when it comes to defending on the counterattack from Labos. They're not giving him any freebies anymore.
Yeah, freebies is a big part of this. At this stage of the competition, at this level of play, it really comes down to tiny mistakes. It doesn't even have to be a critical error where someone completely misses the ball. It's just about who gets the perfect touch more than their opponents, and who can set themselves up for the mind games. Quick turnaround force out there. 77 blocks still emerge victorious from it. and still challenged too early for them to get any sort of progress down the length of the field. Twister up towards the air, takes to his home ground in the skies. Badness tries to help him out, but they've all invested in this, and they're forced back once more. Somehow still retains possession, and Badness with the 1v1 skills brings it back with only 35 seconds left.
I mean, he pickpockets this ball at the half-court line and then beats not one, but two defenders at the ready with boost, ready to make a play, but unable to do so. Badness takes fate in his own hands to tie the ball game.
Tie the ball game, as you say. 35 seconds left, and at this stage, there really is anyone's game. We talked about this game being split straight down the middle, and I feel like this is going to be echoed throughout the series. If you guys don't know, there is no tie in Rocket League. We go to golden goal if this buzzer does go off at the end of the 5 minutes, and right now, I think either of these teams would be so ecstatic to be able to pick this up in regulation time. 77 Blocks have the lion's share of the opportunities right now, but Badness sitting back, just making sure that he doesn't give it away, but he's been beaten by Inspire. Desperate save comes out by Twinza, trying to keep it alive. As long as this ball doesn't touch the ground, they've got the opportunity, but Labos force us into a game 1 overtime.
Just an unbelievable play made there on the defensive side from 77 Blocks. We'll see if it continues here in overtime. And like you said, the game doesn't end until someone scores. Maybe the best part about Rocket League is that theoretically, it could go on forever. But right now, we're only 15 seconds in.
I think we've seen the record sits at something like 14, 15 minutes for an overtime, which is effectively 3 regulation games. But with the intensity, it's not going to last that long. Days once more. He started us off in the competition, and he's going to put paid to game number 1. Dunks it down, recovers so well, and once more, 77 Blocks' backline caught lacking.
They didn't even need half a minute altruism. Just 26 seconds in extra time was all it was required for Labos to take game number 1. And there is your winner and your scoreboard as well. You get to take a look at the stat sheet and how everybody did. Days there all lit up on the far left side as your MVP. And I felt like altruism, this was really a game of pressure and possession, because the way that it started out was 77 Blocks. They couldn't get their footing on defense, got scored on early. And then the same thing happened in overtime.
Yep, that was all that separated. Look at that. 8 shots apiece, 5 saves forced out from them. Even the demo is separated by only 1. It came down to just that intangible factor for both of these sides. Who could just get there slightly faster on the challenge? Who could get the 50 that their teammates could take advantage of? And like you say, pressure, control of the field as a whole was such a big part of this. And it just felt that 60, maybe 65% of that happened to be in Labos's favor, and that got them that extra goal that they really needed to. 77 Blocks felt like they were playing from on back foot the whole way.
Certainly. And then I want to call out some players as well that we just need to watch out for that really just popped off in this game. And that was Badness and Days. Badness started off just insane and then had that midfield play with 30 seconds left to juke out 2 defenders and tie the ball game to even get us to overtime. But then in the meantime, Days is this offensive powerhouse who will double tap in your face given the scenario that rises. So here we go. We're going to drop down into game number 2. It's first to 4 wins, and Labos are 1 step closer to moving to the next round of the playoffs.
Bitten tempo right now. My favorite of the maps, the prettiest one in my opinion. And a place, one of the benefits here, Pyro, of being in a virtual game, you can swap places around the world as quickly as you want. So it's certainly going to be a picturesque game. With all the attention, I'm sure, going to be on the cars on the field right now. 77 Blocks would love to bring back the series as they so often did in terms of the goal differential in game number 1. They've got a lot of work to do, and they're off to a good start. At least they've got the pressure on their side.
Yeah, this time 77 Blocks survived the first gauntlet, and Badness, that was almost a grotesque angle on the goal line. Nearly smacked that down from the backboard into the net, but Labos were keen to it and looking at Spyro whip around, evading the demolition and the bumps. Twister handles this ball appropriately from the half-court line, air dribbles to the goal line and nearly scores.
Again, the mechanical prowess coming out there, but there is seeming to be a little bit of a disconnect here for 77 Blocks. It's a great pass back down towards the center. It's enough. Ryzen, he was quiet in game number 1, but he's there. Labos just playing with a single mind, and Daze again shows some creativity, forces Twister into an early jump and leaves the goal line open. Labos opened the score line for a second time in a row.
That's just a sign of veteranship from Daze and poise as well, because many players would want to hit the ball in the net. And Daze looked like he saved his own teammate's shot, but really, he put it away from the defense. 77 Blocks did not expect it and allowed Labos to be one step ahead.
One step ahead is all you need in this. Remember, at the end of the game, it doesn't matter how many goals the difference there really is. It's the single goal that's important right now. It was all that was given in game number 1. A nice little pinch there for 77 Blocks to try and get some distance out there, but they don't manage to find any sort of procedure down the length of the field. And Labos again restricting this noose ever tighter. Hands off again, the synergy coming out the 4 here from our side in blue. And Labos, 77 Blocks, they're desperately trying to find it out, but I don't know, it just feels like they're trying to do it alone.
Yeah, it has to be a coordinated effort, certainly. And it certainly feels like 77 Blocks, they just need to switch up the rhythm of the game right now, because they're getting these blinks of moments in the blue territory of this field, but otherwise feeling really constrained. This is really their first breakthrough as Labos passively move their way through. No way, Inspire finds a way across the field, and 77 Blocks instantly punished for possession.
And look at the composure that came out of Labos there. They were sitting with 3 people on their baseline, and they just slowed the game down. You talked about that change up of tempo, and Labos did that superbly, kind of baiting 77 Blocks in, who's starting to snatch at the game. And they're punished once more from being out of position. The counterattacks are so quick here at this high level of the game. And again, even when they're off the ball, the demos are out there preventing 77 Blocks from getting any sort of grasp on this, and they're forced into high mechanical plays just to stay alive.
It really speaks to what's needed here in the top 8 of this region's open number 4, and that is the fact that you really can't make one small mistake. Right, there was just that small gap in the defense of 77 Blocks, and it was instantly punctured, just as it is here with the Ripper from Daze.
Punctured is certainly a good way to talk about this. I mean, that pass across there is so quick, and Daze is just continuing to excel on that offensive line. He's there, he's turning. You can hear the communication from them right now of, we've got the opportunity, I'm trying to find you, and he turns on a dime, sends through a rocket, and finds the back of the net. 2 minutes left on the board here is certainly enough time for 77 Blocks to make some sort of rally, but it's not looking like they're having any sort of opportunities, let alone 3.
There has to be some kind of a mood change, an attitude shift here for 77 Blocks. I'm less focused on the scoreboard. I'm more focused on the tempo. 77 Blocks have failed just to have some kind of control in this game. And they look more like chickens with their head cut off more than anything as Labos continue to dominate the pace of this game. What a shot from Risen, sniping the opposite side.
Coming so far out of this, Daze puts up such a great pass, and I mean the angle that he gets across here, again making it look so easy for the inexperienced players, but to do that with that sort of pace and tempo behind it, Labos is reading this game so well. And I mean, even on that defensive opportunity, 77 Blocks are making these saves and these cut-offs facing the wrong way. Just they're constantly trying to get back to the ball as opposed to dictating it themselves.
Okay, well, Madness is going to go on a free ride there. A little piggyback across the field. Might as well take a guided tour of Forbidden Temple. It is that beautiful after all. But 77 Blocks, more beauty would meet the eye if they could get a point on the board. They nearly get there with the lunge from Twinzer. Twister blocks the counterattack there from 77, or Labos, and Badna is going to be the next one on deck. Each player taking these solo efforts towards the net. Twister fakes the flip, takes the ball to the ground, but it seems like nothing can get past this Labos defense.
Yeah, and there's creativity being shown here. The big props to 77 Blocks for that. You know, the German precision replaced with some artistic flair, and yet the innovation is coming to naught. They're still almost feeling like they have to do some of these huge mechanical plays to try and get anything, but Labos is reading this too well. They've managed to keep themselves on a completely clean sheet and again threaten the net to add a little bit of insult to injury, goes for the flip reset. For those of you who don't know, flip reset, if you do get all 4 wheels on the ball at one stage, it gives you an extra flip into this. And the level of creativity, you'll see a couple of those over the weekend, that's for sure. But for now, the only important thing that matters, Labos, 2 games in a row, and the second one far more decisive.
They say if you get 4 points on the board as well, you usually get a win in Rocket League. And that was certainly the case for Labos in this 5 minute of Rocket League regulation time. Sometimes you only need 1 or 2, but Labos really able to hit their way home. Days being the MVP on the last game, but this time it is Risen. We saw the sharp shots that were taken from distance of this team, but again, Altruism, I was just mostly impressed with the tempo. Labos is giving 77 blocks, little to no breathing room.
That tempo, and it comes with an unpredictability about it as well. You know, it's all well and good to have creative plays, but if you're doing it too slowly, your opponents have that time to react. It's all well and good having good tempo, but if you don't have the accuracy and you just make it too easy to spot out, your opponents are going to be able to react to it and almost preempt it and get in the way. Here they're synergizing between the passes, between the challenges, off the backboard constantly. There is just a level that 77 blocks is unattainably looking towards, and it's just out of their reach right now. They don't know how to react, and that's all they're being forced to do, react the best that they can.
It's tough playing reactive Rocket League when sometimes you just want to be proactive. And just to expand on your point, 77 blocks really going for these solo plays that have slow startups from the ground and then rise up with a flip reset or a ceiling flip. But Labos and the reinforcements, the layers they have to their defense and the swift movements, it's just not enough to beat them. So different strategies may be formulated here as we get into game number 3. And included in those strategies are nice saves off your own crossbar as we get things underway here in game 3.
Man, you know you're watching good players when they go for that with confidence, but coming forward with confidence now, it is going to be 77 blocks. They've tried the aerial plays time and time again, and the link up was there, the little squeeze out towards the side, and Twister, there's the speed that we were looking for, and Daze left completely dazed on the back, on the ground there, no chance to get up to it, and 77 blocks, finally. It took them 5 minutes in the last game without a goal. Now they come back and they've opened up the scoreline.
The neat thing about that play, too, was that if Daze did jump up for the ball, Twinzer was aerialing with Twister to bump him out of the way. So there was no option whatsoever for Daze. He was better off just being a sitting duck. So 77 blocks with a rare lead. You got to wonder how long they can hold on to it.
Yep. And I like that you pointed out that was a duo play that came out there. I really like to see them working together. I did feel in that last game that maybe 77 blocks was trying to force that a little bit too much. You know, they had one person with control of the ball and the other person fully dedicated themselves, assuming that their teammate was going to come out the better with it. And that was denied too often. It kind of took 2 players out of the field. So it is a risky strategy if 77 blocks is going to rely upon it. But when it comes right, it's almost indefensible.
That's right. It's always important to talk about the off-the-ball play style more than just on the ball, because that really does generate most of the chances. At 77 blocks, I feel like half their goals in this series have been generated off of bumps, off of demos. They may be willing to incorporate that physical play as well as steal in those precious resources of boost along the way. For now, they'll hold their lead, but Labos are on their own counterattack as Daze flip resets to the backboard. The follow-up shot is saved, and even the turn-in from Risen is denied. So Labos trying to get in their forward motion towards the net, but 77 blocks denying it at every angle.
Yep, I like that Twister went up for that. That was the second challenge in a row that just shuts it down before their opponent has any sort of control on it. And it keeps 77 blocks with the pressure, with the possession. They've got 2 members in the midfield here looking to carry this going, and it's up to Badness. We've said he scores a goal per game, yet to score one right now, and wants to make sure that stat is nicely tucked away and secure. Gets a nice demo out of the corner, forces Labos to try and reinforce, but a slow play from Inspire even picks up the boost pad, keeps it going, retains possession, reclaims us, takes towards the sky, looking for something over the backboard with teammates in tow, but it's Twinzer. He's gone through the air, he's pushed them all the way back. He says, Labos, this is our game, 2 minutes left.
Yeah, Labos can sort of still play their playstyle here, and they certainly will with Inspire almost having a lane towards the net. Risen jumps up once for this one, plays the 50 afterwards, just takes on that challenge against his opponent. Twinzer Inspire with the shot off the backboard, follow up there from Days, denied. 77 blocks, again, just layering their fortifying defense from any angle that they could come from Labos.
And they picked up their pace. I think that's the big difference right now. The 77 blocks is playing with intentionality, but they got a hard job ahead here. Great save off the baseline. And they get the ball far enough that they get themselves, all 3 members, back into the toe. That gives them the chance to now throw bodies at the ball, going up for the challenge here, force it down to their opponent's half, and Days with work to do gets taken off the ball. Claimed here, and Badness with the bump at the end to secure it. Going to get that goal per game that he was looking for, and 77 blocks, it took everything that they've gotten, but when you throw everything at it, sometimes it works out, and this time they needed it too.
I knew they'd get physical. I didn't think they'd wrestle their way for these goals, but they certainly did. 77 blocks, most expanded lead now in the series. It's some cushion, but against Labos, who was able to score 4 in the last game, is it enough? Twister, certainly 3 would, as they've got a chance here. Badness gets a backflip and then tries to shoot, but unable to score. It's Inspire off the ceiling, tries to get the pass down to a teammate, but nobody's there. They've got to find a chance now.
Nice adaptation from Twister in the air to get the challenge in there, but it's not enough. Risen still emerges victorious with that. Inspire up to that, as the initial challenge was not there, and it's the mistake that cost 77 blocks the first goal towards that lead. It's challenged there from Badness, just denied by the crossbar, and with the smallest margin to aim for, the shot comes in from Days, none other. 34 seconds is now a tenuous grasp on this game.
Could be the most important 34 seconds that Labos play if they can gather this tie game. Inspire's got a shot towards the net, and he's cut it opening as well with the demolition. The ball game's tied.
Oh, Twister was up to the task, and Twinzer, I think he was desperate for boost there. That 100 boost pad in the corner was too tempting, desperate for it to spawn, and gives away the positional advantage. Labos, that's all they needed to get back into this, and suddenly with 77 blocks, we were praising them for the opportunity, are now facing a devastatingly worrying task. They got to go for one more opportunity. Saved out there. And with Labos having 15 seconds left, I think they're going to feel far more comfortable. You do not want to go into game point right now after game 3.
You don't want to go to overtime with Labos either, because it only took 26 seconds for them to score that winning goal. How long will it take this time in overtime? It's time to find out.
Overtime is, 2 of the 3 games. We said this was going to be close, and this one truly is the best opportunity for 77 blocks. And you almost feel like their psychology going to take a knock if they go down right now. They're then forced to make a sweep around the other side. Labos, though, they continue to look comfortable, and they seem to have given themselves all the impetus that they need to bring themselves back, and they've inspired themselves in the most literal sense, considering their players' names, but they are looking for one more chance. And it could be on the hands of Risen right now. No.
Woo. That was incredible from Twinzer. If they get bumped or demoed there, the ball game is over, but they evaded the physical play and they managed to get the save just from Twinzer's footing. The ball game continues as we're still not even a minute into overtime. Risen with another opportunity, air dribble towards the net. It's knocked off the ceiling. Inspire with a chance and a goal. Labos with an OT again.
Again, it just felt like 77 blocks was delaying the game rather than taking it to their own control. And once more, a desperate defense. Too many players diving across the back line. Maybe they just kept their eyes off the ball, thinking that they were going into the last minute with enough of a buffer between them. And Labos seizes it. This is a team that's never going to give up at any stage. And they managed to wrench it back towards themselves. So a great finish for Labos. And suddenly a daunting prospect given to our team in orange. They've got to do 4 in a row against a team that has basically looked unassailable except for 1 or 2 little opportunities that 77 Blocks had to manufacture.
You know, Altruism, I feel like someone walked away at a minute left in this game with 77 Blocks up 2-0 and are now back after grabbing a drink of water and saying, I'm sorry, Labos won that game? How? They ripped it from them with that clutch performance. And there's something about the last minute in regulation in Rocket League that shape shifts a team when they have to score, because you can try to play their game, but then you got to start to up the ante when a goal is actually required, when 2 in this case were needed. And it's really inspiring to see the way that Labos were able to do that.
There's a certain amount of reservation or indolence from a team when you have a couple of minutes left on it. Maybe you only need 1 goal. You don't want to give away free opportunities like that. So you tend to dedicate 1 person at a time, maybe 2 linking up there, throwing 3 people. We tend to call it a double or triple commit into a play. But when you've got that 30 seconds left, all bets are off at that stage. You throw it because it's a make or break moment. And if you lose another goal, doesn't really change the outcome, but giving yourself that opportunity. And Labos did that, and they did it well. They've looked too good as a single unit to worry too much. And when you dedicate all 3 members into the play, they come away with the 2 goals that they needed to get themselves to overtime. The 3rd goal in that overtime. And most importantly, they now sit themselves on match point as we go to game number 4.
The desk said this would be close. I thought this would be close as well. And here we are, maybe 4.5 minutes away from a sweep. Granted, a couple overtimes, but 77 Blocks.
That game 4 right now. Overtimes certainly make you feel at the moment. Certainly, we lost you for a little bit there, Pyro, but it's okay. We know you're just a little too excited right now. Your mic can't even keep up with you, but certainly right now. I mean, you mentioned that this was supposed to be a close game. It has been a close game. It's felt like it, except for game number 2. Fair enough. But this doesn't feel like this should be a sweep right now. And I think 77 Blocks will be heartbroken if they can't bring this back at all. Still alive, though. They've still got their opportunities. And they're going to give themselves the best opportunity going forward. It's taken 1 minute and 15 seconds. It's required their aerial prowess that we've alluded to so often. Despite the best attempts from Labos, they can't keep it out. At 77 Blocks, take a lead.
And I love that play from Twinzer, because those solo plays that start off a little slow have not been working, so Twinzer knocks it off the ceiling with speed, and that generated a great chance for them.
I like what you say, right? Is so often those aerial plays they're quite delayed in it. You know, you can read it, but right now they're keeping it so far out of the reach of Labos, there's no chance for them to react. Keeping this as high to the ceiling as you can. Even Badness off the ceiling ricochets it down, and the speed of the reinforcements come out there, sends it home. 77 Blocks again with a 2-goal lead. Now I'm sure no one's stepping away from their controller.
That's for sure. And for 77 Blocks, they know that this lead is not secure, but maybe it will become a little more so. Almost a long ball down the field, and then follow-up from Twinzer will not land. Badness in position to take a short chip, but Twinzer will instead rotate way on back to turn this around. Risen trying to get some possession out of this, trying to search for that exit route from their own half so that they can recapture control in this series. This could be taken a little bit tougher. Inspire, that's a bad miss for him. It sets up 77 Blocks off the backboard. Badness playing more so for possession. No sharp shots quite yet from the team.
I think that's a wise play as they're forced back into their own half. Right now, I think that 77 Blocks has come to the realization that they can't just one and done kind of thing. They've got to work it through their opponents. They've got to chip away at the resources that Labos has in their tanks, and the positional advantage dissected with a more clinical style of play. And they're doing a great job at it. Once more pressurizing this blue net, trying to find something towards the center. It's a good challenge up from Inspire to send it a long way down the field, but possession retained, and Labos with more work to do if they want to bring this back.
Well, Risen was a huge playmaker for Labos on that comeback. You're wondering what's in his mind in a situation like this, where once again, they've got to score two. He'll play it off the ceiling to himself, land on the ball. It's Inspire next to the plate, but Badness guarding it on the backboard and releasing it from the infield, saying, no, we're not going to generate those easy chances for you quite yet. It's a pinch from Twinzer off the half-court line. Inspire plays it slowly, and you got to wonder if this pace is going to work for Labos. They do find a demolition, which may open up the field for the shot of Risen, but 77 blocks, they set their feet in time.
Even there, though, Labos, they had the opportunity. They had the demo, was an awkward save forced out. Oh, talking about awkward saves there. Twister has to get his car back into the right orientation to be able to stay alive in this. Demo for their trouble as well means 77 blocks still without the firm footing that they would like to go into the last minute with, and that last minute has haunted them before. They've held it strong for 2.5, but Labos finally getting their progress down the length of the field. Now they got the opportunity passed towards the center. It's going to be easily dealt with. In fact, turned around by Twister, trying to get that progress taken away by Risen, and sends it back down, and Inspire looking for the pass.
Set up high from Twinzer. Labos unwilling, just reluctant to give away this possession. It's a hard one from Days. It'll come right off the ceiling and down, but expecting it are 77 blocks. This is the defense we were touting so much in the pre-show to set up this match. It's finally coming to form in this game. They only need 30 more seconds to hold on to it.
Man, Pyro, I'm so glad they are putting up this defensive masterclass, because it proves that I do know ball. I was the one who first said that these guys are the ones to watch on their own defensive line, and they're doing a great job of it right now. Even without the boost, Badness gets involved in the play, picks up another 100, and tries to make a way down there to try and reinforce that. But the pass is long, and Inspire just sitting, waiting for that to turn it back in there. Gives that light at the end of the tunnel, and 77 blocks, they were caught completely off guard by this.
That's some very awkward positioning from 77 blocks. Nobody watching the net, nobody expecting Days to shoot directly on target, but that's what they needed. Now they need yet another goal. Pass over to Days, gets intercepted there by Twinzer, and Risen, a last chance, the give and go between him and Inspire. Releases a shot to the net, top shelf, blocked by all three of the blocks. The final layer of defense has been set and guides them to the victory.
Oh my god, that was a rocket at the end there. It forced all three members. We talk about the triple commit there because that was a desperate last minute realization that the game was not over quite yet. But yet, at the end, the 5 minutes tick down, 77 blocks, they get one onto the board. Again, a tight affair. And finally, the stats starting to go in their way. Most critically, the goals, but shots to their benefit. Saves still forced out equally between the two teams, and you can see Labos, they wanted this. They put in 5 demos there in an attempt to off-seat 77 blocks, but our Germans find a purchase in the series.
Sometimes a player puts on the cape as well and becomes the hero, and looking at that scoreboard, Twinzer was Superman in this game. Nearly 600 points where neither of his teammates got to 200. You've got to step up sometimes. You got to be on the ball. You got to force the hand of your opponents. And from the very beginning, especially with that pass up the ceiling that he had to himself, it was clear that Twinzer had something to prove in this game.
Yeah, Rocket League is certainly not an individualistic game. It requires the whole team to come together. But there is one person who tends to step up and just takes the mantle onto their shoulder. And that rotates often within a series. But right now, being able to be that solid anchor for your team and give yourself the opportunities, even when you say it's not just the goals that matter, it's not just about the striker, it's about making those little incisions in your opponent, the little pass off the corner, the demo on the way through is such a big part of that gameplay. And it's nice to see 77 blocks finally having someone ready to step up and into that position. Pyro, my original prediction was for 77 blocks. Yours was, of course, for Labos. And I was getting nervous at the end of that. Are you still confident that Labos have this in game number 5 as we go into it? Or is this the turning point that gives the Germans the path back in?
You know what, Altruism? I've watched too much Rocket League to ever be confident in a single team.
Right on,
I will say
absolutely.
that. And that's the beauty of this game of car soccer, that you never really know when that tipping point, or that turning point, excuse me, is going to happen. It may have occurred for 77 blocks, but for me, Labos have performed so consistently and positively and trended higher and higher in this season. I expect them to take this next step forward. They might just on the start of this game with that shot just a little wide, but the blocks have just as much of a chance as anybody there.
I do feel like Labos is not being given the freedom that they were previously to make these wonderful passing plays. They're being checked at every step, whether it's by a physical challenge or, you know, just getting in the way of the ball for a good 50. Ooh, consternation on the back line there. Twinzer gets an awkward touch, but it turns into a nice pass for Badness. And yet, Labos, they're not as comfortable, I would say. 77 blocks have stepped up that tempo. Nice demo there. Actually, it means that the rotation around for Labos is going to be a little bit checked out. And nice challenge to bring it back towards the center. Inspire trying to slow it down and buy time for his teammates to get involved. But still no progress down the field. There's 77 blocks constantly there to make another attempt.
And again, it's all going to come down to that defense of 77 blocks here. How well can they perform on these saves? They've really seemed to find their footing. Will that stance maintain? Twister is going to be the one so close to this. Risen immediately cuts it back, though, and that's 2 players on the shot. They pinched it to the net. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Those pinches are so unpredictable, and you never know what's coming in. Even the pace is hard to read, and you can see Twinzer, a very experienced player, has to stop for a second and just try to figure out where that ball's going. Unfortunately, the hesitation cost them and just cannot rotate around in time. Labos going to be given a free gifted goal. Pinches, again, difficult to plan out if you're the offenders, and right there, they take full advantage of that, get that goal back, and so far, in every one of the games that Labos has been able to be the one opening the scoring, they've been the one to come out as the victors at the end, so they're going to be ecstatic about this.
Indeed, they will be. Days looking ecstatic as ever. Almost giving himself a chance there off the ceiling. Badness handles it appropriately. A little bit of corner ball going to be played here, and 77 blocks happy to slow the pace here because it gives them every single chance to meet these challenges and allow that turnaround.
Still Labos maintaining this presence around their opponent's net, and it was just chipping away. You talked about the pressure earlier, and we get to see so many of these pro teams. They just they thrive on this ability to rotate back and forth. Wave after wave crashes, and eventually Labos find that chink in the armor. It comes on Inspire, who was touted as one of the best offensive players in this lobby. And he doesn't make a mistake there. Brings Labos up to a second goal. It took nearly 2 minutes for that first goal to come out, but the second one now starting to link up together, and Labos feeling in a comfortable position for their last victory required.
Well, we've officially reached crunch time here for 77 blocks. These are the lower bracket matches. This is where your tournament life is on the line. And with match point here for Labos, 77 blocks need to do everything they can to take that next step. Bosch with the equal chance to put them away. Could be set up here for Inspire. Pass right off the backboard. Badness just can't keep his control on that ball. And Labos continuing to put 77 blocks in these awkward positions where they've got to utilize most of their boost.
Yeah, and the awkward positions are not just can you get to the ball, it's how much are you going to take to get to it? Are you going to leave yourselves vacant and force out desperate defenses like this? Finally, they start linking up together. Twister manages to emerge victorious from that challenge and starting to get 77 blocks, some sort of momentum. They pick up the pace to try and bring it towards their opponents. Dealt with succinctly and summarily, and Labos, they just always make sure that 77 blocks has that moment of hesitation in their back line. Inspire towards the air, drains his boost tank to get it on the backboard, tries to drop it down, but the rotations from 77 blocks are there. The big problem right now is that 77 blocks still are yet to find the back of the net with a minute to go.
Yeah, Labos just have this hold on the game right now. And Twinzer, an unfortunate landing on the ground because he meets the ball instead. And that may have just given Labos the ticket to the next round.
Oh, heartbreak emerges here for 77 blocks. They had a difficult task ahead of them with 2 goals to find. Now with almost a miracle required for the squad in oranges. They've got to find 3 in the last minute. We say in Rocket League, 15, 20 seconds is kind of the limit for what it takes per goal, and they've got to do that 3 times in a row. If anyone could do it, the 77 blocks lineup could, but I mean, when we've said that their defensive line is the strongest part of their game plan, they've got 30 seconds lost half the time, and it really seems like the light fading from their eyes as they count down to the realization that this will be the end of their foray into the open number 4.
Oh, Days, I love this pass out to Inspire. The last time the ball was dropped down like this in front of the net, 77 blocks took care of it with an own goal. This time Inspire says we can do that too.
The echoes of game number 2 come through once more. Labos clean sweep with a 4-0 scoreline against their opponents. 77 blocks. Really an academic time frame now, the last 15 seconds. Twins are looking to put it back into his own net again, just to try to keep some sort of control and maybe looking to salvage some sort of pride. But Labos, they're feeling too good right now. They want to make sure that they keep their record intact. Maybe add 1 to the top of this, and Inspire looking to add towards the montage reel. But the work is done. Just as it looked like 77 blocks were going to be able to bring some sort of life back into the competition, Labos shuts the door and nails the coffin.
Yeah, I feel like at the beginning of this series, we already saw the full story. Labos came out swinging, and that happened right off the first kickoff, and it transcended into every single play. Sure, they had their hurdles. They had to jump over and maybe trip a little bit. But that final game, a 4-0 showing, the second one that they performed in that series, it was clear that Labos were ready to earn their 3rd top 6 showing.
They earned it. You have to say that. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Labos earned the 77 blocks. They had a couple of moments, but nothing, aside from that own goal at the end, there was nothing that looked like they were dastardly mistakes. You know, these nail-biting finishes the whole way through. And it really did come down to, it felt like minuscule differences between the teams, and the differences were all dictated by Labos. Their synergy was good, their finishing was on point. I don't think that there was a single crossbar found at any stage. So these guys are just so well versed and so precise that they are a force to be reckoned with for the rest of the competition.
There's no doubt about that. Labos take the win, and there you go, Greybeard. I know you're just trying to split the desk with your prediction, but you still got it right.
No. That wasn't that was deep insight. Getting us looking at the lay of the land and seeing what was to come. And I mean, it was close it was split on the desk. But Pyro, you favored Labos to take it. But I think where we were all wrong is, all of us believed that this was going to be a lot closer than it turned out to be. Both of these teams are looking for their best showing in RLCS. Both of these teams have gotten to top 6. So whoever the winner was would have equaled their best showing in this competition. And it is Labos that have gone forward. 77 blocks are out. And Bromeo, I mean, you went for Labos, but were you surprised at the fact that it wasn't as close as we thought it might have been?
I was definitely surprised at how well Labos synergized today. Both have made top 8 before. They are both deserve to be where they are. However, today Labos just came out firing. Inspire Days. They've just been playing so well, and you managed to see that from game 1 all the way through. There were very few missed chances. They capitalized on mistakes, and that is a team that's playing confidently. So I'm pretty sure that'll serve them well going into the competition forward.
MachtFISCH made the point about Labos being a team driven by teamwork rather than having standout players. Bromeo, however, has touched on Inspire and Days, and from what I saw there, Ultrism, it seemed. I don't know what your take was in seeing how it was. Were they standout players, or were they just exceptional in their team synergy?
I think everyone certainly did their job. I think the success certainly came from their ability to work as a unit. There was no weak links there. But I've got to give a special shout out to Days. He was not mentioned at all in the pre-show, and yet he was consistently, especially in the first 2 games, he was there. He was involved in basically every one of the plays, whether it was scoring the goal himself or just setting it up for the teammates. He opened that first game. He closed it out in the overtime. His mechanics, his creativity was there to just set off 77 blocks on a completely different direction, and then with the reliance on someone else to finish that play or to make that next step happen was a big part of it. So I do love every one of the members of Labos, but Days just had a sparkle to him about him today.
A sparkle for days, and I apologize. That's not even a good one, but I will go for it. So Labos go forward. They are going to be playing the loser of the upper bracket matchup between Relentless and. Am I correct in that?
It's a complicated bracket. We understand, Greybeard. This.
Yeah, I know that's complicated, and I'm old, but I think that's correct. No, I beg your pardon. Whatever. They will be playing the loser of an upper bracket match is coming, but that is them done for the day. Every team plays one series today, and they will play a game tomorrow. So Labos have secured themselves a spot in the top 6. 77 blocks will regather and return for regional or for open number 5, and the qualifiers for that are next weekend. And Labos will be in action tomorrow. We're going to be bringing our second series very shortly. But to wrap up this series, Pyro, your takeout, Ultrasm, a big fan of Days and what he did there. Was there a standout for you?
Risen to me, actually. I thought like the sandwich, the meat of that match was really Risen, taking over, setting up the chances, hitting beautiful snipes. To me, Labos could be touted as a number 4 in the region. I think there's a very, very tight top 3, and Labos, again, showing off that they have top 4 potential. I'm excited to see them tomorrow.
Well, let's go and hear how they feel about what's just happened and their prospects coming up tomorrow. We're going to be interviewing from the Labos side. We're going to have a chat with Inspire. Bromeo, take it away.
Inspire, from the winners of this past fixture, Labos. Hey, welcome. Well done.
Hello. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
So, first of all, congratulations on the opening game today. You had a mammoth 8 goals in that series, and I've got to say it was really cool to see. It was Days with the assists, Risen with the saves, and you with the goals. Was that something that you guys planned for, or did the stars align?
I mean, I wouldn't really say we had a big plan going into this. Obviously, we have the way we play, and we have our individual play styles, but it just kind of happened to go like this.
Well, Inspire, on the desk before the game started, every single one of us thought that this was going to be an incredibly close matchup. I want to know from you guys, were you worried about this? Did you think that you had this quite comfortably in the bag? And what did you do to really differentiate this and take it what arguably could be a very comfortable series for you?
I mean, we have played them before in Swiss, and I think we won 3-1 there. We have scrimmed them a couple of times, so of course we are confident against them. But we still have to respect them as opponents, because they're individually, but also as a team, just amazing players and an amazing team.
And just a quick one on this. You finished top 8 in the last 2 opens. Now, you've equaled that once more in pretty convincing fashion. How do you feel? Are you a little calmer and more confident now that you've equaled it?
No, because I feel like we still haven't reached the results that we want to reach. Of course, top 6 is amazing, but we all feel that we could do way more. Yeah.
I mean, doing more is a difficult ask for anyone right now. Like you say, top 6 is a fantastic finish, especially in such a contested region right now. What I want to know from you basically is, you've got now the whole rest of today off. Tomorrow is the big day for you. What is the preparation for people who have never been in a competitive scene? What does the preparation look like for you guys, knowing that you got your opponents up? Are you going to be sitting just watching the rest of the stream, or is it a case of you've got specific game plans that you need to go drill in this evening?
I think we are all going to take our evenings off, and then tomorrow we have to get back on the game, get back into doing some scrims before RLCS, and then of course playing the game. But right now we are just going to all chill.
Well, Inspire, congratulations once again on the victory. Thank you for joining us here today. Enjoy your night off, and we're back to the desk.
Thanks so much, Rob. You too.
Series 1 done and dusted. We have our first top 6 team. We have one more team who will be eliminated today, and that'll be in our second match today. Coming up right now, Akimbo and Relentless. And then our top 6 will be in place. Then we go to the upper bracket, and the 2 losing teams from those series will play. And that will happen tomorrow. But there you go. That's how the bracket works. You can see Labos there at the bottom have made their way forward, and they will wait for the winner from one of those 2 upper bracket matches tomorrow. And these are the 4 series we're bringing you today. 4 of them, 4 best of 7 series. 1 of them is done. Next up, Akimbo Esports versus Relentless. Hey with Riz against Limitless. And then finally, Foot Esports versus Cristobal Colon. And that will give us our top 6 to duke it out tomorrow. So our next matchup coming up right here, right now, Relentless. That is Energizer, formerly of 77 Blocks, now on the Relentless team, along with Star and local boy Zany. And Bromeo, Zany this has been his best performance in RLCS this season. So already he must be feeling pretty good.
If I were him, I would be feeling fantastic right now. It has been quite a journey to get to this point. It's not easy to make it into main event. It's not easy to make it to top 8. So Zany has done himself proud. He is an up-and-comer. He's played incredibly well leading up to this, and he's paired with a really good team in Star and Energizer. So I'm sure he's going to be feeling confident leading up to this.
The chat vote has opened. We're going to get to our predictions in due course, but chat can have their say right here and right now. If you think that Akimbo will be taking it, hashtag AK or hashtag RLS, depending on who you believe is going to win, have your say. And Pyro, Akimbo, first of all, we've got to say North American Org picking up what were the team formerly known as Bulletproof, but don't have Rubix in their team today.
Yeah, so Rubix, former member of that ex-Foot Esports team over there with VK Salen and Leoro. So he's got that kind of veteranship here in the RLCS down here in the SSA region. But subbing in for Rubix, who is unavailable, is Vash. And this player not only competed yesterday with the team, so we are expecting that cohesion, but at the same time, he has a long history in the collegiate scene. Between being a runner-up in the Unirocketeers World Championship last season to competing for St. Clair so long. So he's used to this upper end of Rocket League competition, and I'm expecting some good stuff out of him in tandem with Bryza and Youngstar.
I mean, look at those stats. At 1.17 goals per match, that's the highest that we could see. I mean, Energize on the other side, ready to put my words to rest immediately. But I mean, sitting with a 38% accuracy is great. He's certainly no slouch towards us. And this is going to be the showdown that really defines it for me, is these are the offensive powerhouses from both sides. These are the guys who are going to be slugging it out time and time again. And whoever can really find that chink a little bit more, or maybe add to their montages, is going to be a big deciding factor.
It's a bit tough with the stats, you know, being relatively new in the region and SSA still being relatively new in RLCS, you know, particularly this season with a bunch of new players, a bunch of new teams coming in. It's hard to see those long distance stats. We were talking about 77 Blocks and the fact that this is their second season competing in SSA. So they've been around a while, and they've been around long enough for us to develop deeper insights in terms of the stats. But someone like Vesh, you're not entirely sure, Bromeo. So sometimes the data points are a bit lacking. But based on what you have, what do you see and what do you take from it?
This is a real tough one to call, because Akimbo on paper have been stronger historically than Relentless. However, they are missing their starter ASN Rubik. So that levels the playing fields significantly today. So it makes it immeasurably harder to call. And like you said, there are no head-to-head stats. They've never played each other, so your guess is as good as mine. But mathematically, I would have to still stick with Akimbo to take this one.
Well, we're going to come back to you for your official... Okay, well, I see production's like, okay, we're calling it Akimbo it is.
It's up there. It's there now.
Prediction is locked in. All right, fine. Well, let's stick with the middle of the panel. Ultrasm.
Well, I was not emotionally ready for predictions just yet. So,
well, yeah, okay, go ahead.
I do like Relentless for kind of what they stand for. It's this whole like bringing people from different places. You can see the impact that the international exposure has had on someone like Zany. And so it's a team that I think has a lot of potential for the future. But I don't know if they're quite there just yet. On the other hand, Akimbo is tried and true. I mean, yes, like Romeo says, missing Rubik's is a massive part against them. But I still think that they are the stronger team. So I'm going to also kind of have to go towards Akimbo.
Solid points being made, but I don't know. I'm liking the momentum that Relentless have, and how far they've come. But they have lacked the results. If you look at Zany and Star, they struggled last split to get the results that they would have felt they should have. Whereas the Akimbo roster, they've kind of been there and thereabouts the whole way down. So I don't know how much that influences you, Pyro.
It influences me quite a bit. I mean, listen, just because it is Zany's first top 8 doesn't mean that I think he's not going to perform well. But to me, Akimbo, they're very comfortable here. And I also think there's a dark horse in this match. I have seen too many games where Bryza has taken over and scored every single goal. I would not be surprised to see that happen today, no matter if he's on the field with Rubik's or Vesh. So I, too, am going Akimbo on this match, and have to leave it to you, Greybeard, to see if we'll see a swept desk.
Well, chat are 51% for Akimbo and 49% for Relentless, so it's really close there. I'm not allowing a desk sweep. I'm backing my boy Zany to bring out the big work, Relentless for me, and I will have the pleasure of casting this alongside MachtFISCH, and we will go and do that right now. Relentless and Akimbo. Zany, his best finish this season. Akimbo have been here before. They will know what to do. We bring you the action right now.
Welcome, Akimbo Esports, to SSA, the North American organization just having signed the Bulletproof team. But will they be able to survive that relentless pressure from local boy Zany and his team? Finding out this with me will be our horseborn Greybeard. So, Ryan, let's have some fun in our second series of the evening.
I expect nothing less than a lot of fun. I do hope either way, whichever way this goes, it is closer than our last series. Would love to see a Game 6, a Game 7, but it's Game 1 right here, right now, and shots in anger are being fired.
And what else I have to see is the players using the facilitated camera links to their advantage, so we can see a little bit more what goes on in their faces, what goes on in their minds. Right here, Akimbo firstly drawn back to their own back line. Zany and Relentless trying to put on some of that pressure as Energizer keeps the ball deep in the blue half.
Yeah, I like this. This is a good early territorial pressure, which is good to see. And it is Zany looking for the pass into the middle. Beautiful pass, beautiful finish. Zany and Energizer get Relentless on the board.
Nice pass in the center. Absolutely asinine for Vesh at the front post. He can't deal with it. He can't get close enough. And it will be the German on Relentless' side, though, to put it in. We've seen it earlier, Greybeard, 1.32 goals per game, and he's already up there on the scoring board.
Fantastic to see, but now it is Akimbo who have possession. Bryza trying to get it down. It's in front. There's a shot. Youngstar gets blocked just at the last moment. Scary moment for Relentless. They survive it. But man, Akimbo have come out firing right after the kickoff. Instant pressure on the Relentless net.
There was worries, and we've heard it on this, there were worries that, Relentless might be a bit overwhelmed with the pressure. This is the furthest they've ever made it. Not just Zany, but so too the same holds for Star and Energizer here in 2025. Akimbo, much more used to making those deep runs here into today and possibly even also into Sunday. But certainly, Relentless showing none of that pressure negatively affecting him. In fact, I would say, Greybeard, they're being elated by it.
Yeah, and they weathered that early pressure after the kickoff where they scored their goal, and they've been able to turn it around and bring the pressure back to the Akimbo net, as they are right now. And another pass down in front, and Zany this time scores! So far on the evidence of these 2 goals, the play being reversed, Energizer passing to Zany, and a 2-goal lead for Relentless.
Well, I think we found the offensive duo for Relentless, haven't we? Energizer and Zany being left on the offensive half. Star's single job and most important duty is just to, fill the gaps, not be in the way, and enable those 2 magicians. That's exactly what he's trying to do there as well. But now, Akimbo trying to move forward deep into their opponent's half. It's just been 2 minutes play. It's 2 great minutes played from Relentless, that notwithstanding, but it's only been 2 minutes.
Well, there's 2 factors. It's only been 2 minutes, and it's only 2 minutes in a best-of-7 series, so there is a long way to go. The desk Zany looking for the flip reset. Doesn't have boost. Couldn't get on the end of it. Desperately needed the flip reset to get some kind of shot on. Couldn't find it, and that doesn't come to pass. But now long-distance pass, and the longest shot from high up is saved away. But loving what I'm seeing here from Relentless.
Just about 7 on the other side. Fish! There he is! The super subbing for Akimbo with his first of the day. And, we wanted to see the battle between Energizer and Vesh. I think we're here to get it.
Now, the desk was very heavily in favor of Akimbo. We didn't get your prediction, Macht. What was your before the start of the series, where were you leaning?
I got DM'd by, and I got a message by Youngstar this morning who said it's going to be an easy 4-1, trust me. And that's what I was going to pass on, and exactly what I did pass on. But it seems like Youngstar might have been a little bit mistaken. It's not going to be easy at all as Vesh puts it up high. Prizes there, that's the equalizer.
Yeah, a little bit of a defensive lapse here. Great press forward from Akimbo. That pass from Vesh was fantastic. But Energizer getting a little bit caught, and Bryza with momentum in the air gets ahead, gets right in between those final defenders to send it home. Level game.
2 good minutes of Rocket League are only worth anything if you can back them up with 3 further good minutes of Rocket League. It's a game where momentum is so sacrosanct even. It's so important as Youngster puts another one on target. Energizer there to take it away.
Has there been a definite shift in the balance of play? But a shot now! Zany's going to get his second! And it comes definitely a counter-attack player. Akimbo were building nice pressure. And once more, Energizer, perfect pass down to Zany, who goes low and under.
And just when Akimbo got used to the rhythm of the series, just when they were made to feel comfortable, is when Relentless strike on the counter. But Youngster right after the kickoff, immediate pressure here from Akimbo. Don't want to go down, but they might concede here. That's on, that's in, that's 4 for Energizer.
Energizer catching up to Zany on the goal count. They're both on 2 apiece. And there was a worrying moment for Relentless before that counter-attack play happened there, because there was some uncertainty, some hesitancy from Relentless. They gave Akimbo too much time, but somehow Zany got himself full boost, saved, got the ball out, and bang, bang, they have a 4-2 lead.
Star might even be interested in making it a 3-goal lead here after the kickoff. Akimbo has known how easy it is to reverse a 2-goal deficit, but now time is a much more important factor. As Youngster gets a pass, one has Vesh on his flanks, going to use his teammate to no big avail. Vesh going to be met by both Star and Zen to just slow down that offense of Akimbo.
And you made the salient point. That's going to be in. again. Oh, and suddenly it's close. 4-2 seemed comfortable with 43 seconds to go. 4-3, not so much. You were talking about it's all very well to have 2 good minutes of Rocket League. You need those extra 3 minutes, and it looked like Relentless were finding a solid 90 seconds, but it is going to be sweaty.
I love how this series is already completely different from the first one we've seen this evening between Labos and 77 Block. This is much more aggressive. This is much less tactical. This is just full throttle Rocket League, and Youngster finds the 8th of the game.
18 seconds to find the equalizer, and suddenly, man, how quickly things turn around. And honestly, with the last 50 seconds to go and a 2-goal lead for Relentless, you almost wanted to put it on luck, but suddenly we got overtime staring down, and now maybe a kickoff goal it is. Oh no! Disaster for Relentless.
How did Vesh thread that needle? Going around Youngster and still finding enough power to get a past Star. That is absolutely immaculate work by the Polishman. And Akimbo, suddenly, out of nowhere, up by 1.
3 goals in 21 seconds. It's, yeah, man. And that is going to have, you were talking about the pressure on Relentless. They seem to be weathering it just fine. Can Zany happen? He's out of boost, but the goal's open. Surely somebody can find a way through. Everybody's out of boost. The defenders are struggling. The attackers can't find a way in. Oh, no. Last chance now. Energizes up. He's trying to put it down in front. Can't get there. The ball is going to go down, and I don't know what that does to the mentality of Relentless, because for the bulk of that game, it seemed like they had it and they lost it in the final stretch.
Oh, it's a brutal, soul-crushing loss that one is for Relentless. They were playing so well. It's a fantastic start to still what's going to be their best ever finish in 2025, but it could have been so much more. And there, I think, is where you can see the experience coming through from Akimbo. They've been here before. They know what to do. They keep a calm head, and they can thank their lucky stars and Vesh for the hat-trick.
6 demos, 6 saves, 6 shots from Relentless, and it was doing the work for them. I mean, if we're going to be critical of a team that's just won, they had around 12 shots to get their victory versus the 6 of Relentless. But man, they did their work. They kept their eye on the prize, got there in the end. And man, Relentless, they're going to have to pick themselves up here for game 2. And they can't forget, they've got to keep their attention on the fact that they did so well for so much of the game. They can absolutely bring this to Akimbo, but Akimbo got to be feeling pretty smug with how they stole that one.
I'm still trying to deduce any sort of emotion from the cameras I see on Akimbo Esports, but I can't find any. These players are just made out of ice and steel, it seems like, absolutely unrelenting in that way and not giving us anything. And that's going to be scary for Relentless as well, to know that your opponents are just so cool, calm, and collected, but they still can't get it over the line. A first great opportunity goes begging.
Well, Relentless got to take advantage of what can only be described as a lot of luck very early on. They should be 1 behind now. They're not, and now they look to go forward. Zany, with no boost, just punts it upfield, and is picked up by Bryzer and will bring it right back to the Relentless half.
Vesh is going to be quickest to that. Zany, I think, misjudges Ariel just a tiny bit. Still, no problems as long as that goal is not scored. We enter the second minute of game 2. Still scoreless, 0-0 between Akimbo and Relentless. Neither team really trying to find midfield control or any sort of possession. Both go the direct route into the opponent's half.
And now finally, for most of their presses forward, bad miss there from Zany. That's going to put them under a bit of pressure. And I was going to make the point that they made presses forward with no boost. They had boost for the first time, and another piece of unbelievable luck for Relentless.
It's there. 99% of the time, it's there for Akimbo. But that final percent is haunting them. Another shot this time, a much easier save for Relentless. But the pressure, it is going to be a lot to handle for Relentless. It's going to be a lot to digest. And Akimbo have to be careful, though, themselves. They can be forced into those overcommits. They can be forced into wanting it just a little bit too much, feeling perhaps that they deserve the lead by now.
Star trying to get some sort of dunk here. Energizer might have an opportunity. Great touch. Zany can't get there. A nice work from both Vesh and Bryza to get themselves in front of the shots. Oh, and now Akimbo get themselves a little bit of luck on their goal line.
Oh, indifferent universe. It's not so indifferent after all. Dealing out all the equality that you could want on the side of Akimbo. Meaning there's at least one more great opportunity that Relentless is supposed to squander away. But here comes Youngster. What can he do? Off the side, what gets the reset? Pass it up high. But Energizer stays patient on the back wall. Gets the save. Still though, Akimbo looks far more calm and collected here in game 2. Vesh, maybe something here. No, what a save on the line.
Man, that was taken from inside the net. The player was there, had to go in and out to find the clearance. And we've seen nothing of the Energizer-Zany duo that seemed to be so lethal in game 1. And now a pass into the middle, but it's been picked out by Vesh. He has a crack at it from the halfway line, but it is saved by Star. And this has been a game defined by nervousness on goal lines.
Also a game that's been defined on not scoring any goals. Hold that thought, Energizer. Sometimes you just need to be the one to energize your team. And well, if you got that name, I think you're sort of picked out for it from the start.
I find that incredibly satisfying. The low double tap into the net. It wasn't high and in the air and flourish. It was on the ground, off the back wall, into the net. But Relentless, for the second game in a row, do have the opening goal. They had to work a lot harder at it this time, and you feel they're going to have to work a lot harder at defending it.
That's going to be a very rude storm coming their way, and that rude storm has got the name Akimbo Esports plastered all over it. They've got 80 seconds to survive. Maybe a second one will do a lot to calm the nerves, and it does come through. Energizer, once more the star striker for Relentless.
And Star getting in on the action. He had the build-up play, setting that up. And Energizer looking good. This is his 5th goal. No? Is it his 4th or 5th goal of the series? Fourth goal of the series. The man is hungry, getting a taste for. This might be a 3rd, but a great piece of defending from Akimbo again on the goal line, saved away. Make sure it is only 2.
Only 2 in a minute. Doable for Akimbo. Have done it before in game 1, not just once but twice in that very time frame as well. So Relentless know that they have to be on full focus. They have to be on the watch here for Akimbo moving forward. Brighton's great 50-50 trickling down mid, but Star was more than ready for it.
And we're in that awkward time, 2-goal lead from Akimbo, but we know that in the last 40 seconds, they scored 3 in the last game. So this really is an important time. And Relentless got to be very aware of the fact that they don't need to score. They've got to play a possession game. They do not need to score, and their Star giving away possession. They do not want to be doing that. They've got to survive for 18 seconds. And if they can just keep a hold of this ball and burn off those seconds, they can take this. Loose in the middle. They're a little bit low on boost. Zany just punting it anywhere away from his own net, and now they just got to survive out the last 3 seconds.
And that's going to be it. Game secured by Relentless. And what a game it was. And to be honest, what a steal of a game it was as well, because quite frankly, after the opening minute, Relentless had no business winning the second game of the series.
If we look at that opening 90 seconds or so, I think I counted at least 3 times where Akimbo could have scored, maybe should have scored, probably should have scored. Relentless getting very, very lucky. So through a combination of serendipity and a little bit of panic and a little bit of effort, a little bit of defensive work, they kept it out. But to their credit, they did, and they saw it out through to the end. And there were a few times where Akimbo got lucky on the goal goal line. But it is Relentless that prevail, and they level up the series.
And I mean, we're making puns left, right, and center with the players' names, but like, if any player's name really gives you the feeling of this second game, it was zany, right? It's just a zany game overall, and it's completely different from the first game of the series as well. There's such a contradiction there. Suddenly, both teams decide, okay, we can't keep scoring 9 goals every single game. We're gonna have to focus up and tighten up our defense, and that was really the main thing. Yes, there were good opportunities that were not being used, but still, overall, defensively, this was a much, much better affair.
And, of all the players on the pitch right now, I'm most familiar with Zany, intimately familiar with his story and how hard he has worked at this game, the time and the effort he has put into the game. And I'm just so happy for him to see him succeeding here. His best result of the season. And of course, like with any competitive player, you're happy that you've gotten further than you have before, but you want to always go further than you are right now. And we hope that for him, but there is big pressure on the Relentless net. Once again, they survive it. But man, oh man, there's a feeling of just a matter of time about Akimbo right now.
When will the dam break for Akimbo? I think that is the pertinent question. Well, it's gonna have to wait. That's a big mistake from Youngstar. Star says, thank you very much for the early Christmas present.
Yeah, Bryza trying to keep possession there, low on boost, loses out on the 50, but yeah, Youngstar, 95 times out of 100, he's getting an easy pickup there for the clear, but he misses out, and Star gets himself on the scoreboard. Oh no, it's kickoff madness shenanigans, what is going on? How many? Okay, count us through it, Macht. How many players missed this?
1, 2, and I mean, credit to Vesh, that's a great bump on the back line.
Yeah, I missed that live. Fantastic.
That's a heads up. That's high IQ play from Vesh to just, even after he just blatantly missed the ball, to still be in the headspace to go and look for the opponent, look for, okay, where can I still help out my team? That's the way, and that was perfectly executed from the Polishman, leaving Bryza the easy open net to score. I mean, with 1 minute play, it's all square. Now going into the second minute of game 3.
Yeah, always tough when you give up those kickoff goals, man, because you feel like you had to do work to get your goal, and the other team got theirs pretty cheap. Even when the play was good, so Relentless got to pick themselves up once more. Energizer, who, man, this is the best I've seen Energizer play in a while, but what are Akimbo doing? Oh my word! They get away with one there.
If I don't know what I'm doing, the opponent certainly doesn't know what I'm doing, and that's sort of the Akimbo strategy right here out of the playbook. Confusion as a tactic, but one that, well, simply put, hasn't worked out for them thus far. Still 1-1. It's still even here in game 3, and Akimbo struggling to find any sort of meaningful way out of their blue half. Maybe here, Youngster towards the backboard. Zany is going to send it right back to the receiver.
I have been impressed by Relentless and how they've played this series, and I just hope that they have the stamina. You know, this is high level competition, and it's long competition, best of sevens. You have to have this level of focus, this level of play for long periods of time, and that's going to be for the key for me. If they can keep it up at this pace, they're absolutely in with a shout to take it.
It is very draining to stand on the top of your game for that long a time. We're talking about like 45 to 60 minutes, depending on how long the series turns out to be, and with little to no breaks in between, right? You get like a minute. You have like 1 minute between each map, and then you've got a tactical time that you could use in the course of the series as well. That's going to grant you another 60 seconds to just talk things over with your team, but that's about all the rest you get. And after that, it's just completely go into the tunnel. Be in your little happy place. That's where you need to show, and that's where you need to be to perform at your highest level.
So far, they're doing a good job of it. They're meeting Akimbo toe for toe, shot for shot, and working out there. And yeah, there is a 1 minute break. But oh, what an angle, Vesh! Oh, Vesh, beautifully played. And Relentless now are going to have to come from behind.
Zany sort of misjudged there what Vesh could do, I feel like. Those are like the little moments where you can see that the very high level experience just isn't quite there for Zany. He's a great player, let's not get that wrong, but he doesn't quite always know what's going to be happening in front of him. Situations like those, unfortunately, for the young South African. But Energizer's going to make do with it. Energizer's got Stars and Bully in front of him, and that's going to work out.
That was lovely. I mean, look at that work. Energizer setting himself up there, and then Star going to harass Bryza. Doesn't get the bump, but does enough to where Bryza had to divide his attention between dodging the bump and keeping an eye on Energizer, and Energizer doing wonderful groundwork to get it past an end.
And that's the equalizer here for Relentless. 2-all, about 70 seconds are left to be played, and we might just be heading to our first overtime here between these two, because the rapidness of goals suddenly decreased. Oh, but that one will hurt. That one hurts.
Oh man, someone's doubled over in pain there. Oh, Star. I don't know if he thought the player in front of him was going to get a touch, and he was playing for that, but he just went flying over that, leaving the wide open invitation to the net, and the Akimbo taking advantage. Relentless have to find an equalizer again. Oh,
he must have been fake, surely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't expect a player of his caliber to just miss the ball. As Akimbo nearly put this one to bed, but the save still comes out of Energizer. Still though, Vesh there, open it, but that's a crucial miss. That could be the space that Relentless need to get something on the board. Last 30 seconds remain.
Yeah, Energizer putting in a shift here. He's got to get backed up from his teammates. Energizer, both in defense and attack, he's been there. He's doing work all over the pitch. They're looking, this is the most scrambled I've seen Relentless looking, but they've got time. And yes, not a lot. There's 10 seconds or so for them to find a way, but they got to compose themselves for one big push forward. Star does get it punted up, but no one is there to put pressure, and Youngstar happy to take a bit of time. The clock has run down. As long as they keep the ball up, they might still score. It's heading in front. Someone's got to tap it in. No, Akimbo will ground the ball, and they will go in front once more in the series.
They just about survive, do Akimbo, but they get the crucial win, and in the end, doesn't matter how you get the win, Rocket League is very much a esports driven by the end result, and the end result reads 3-2 in favor of Akimbo. In about 15 minutes, no one's going to remember how this game really worked out.
Not that game one was heartbreaking for Relentless, the way they were in front for so much of the game and then lost it in the end, and they came back wonderfully in game two to take it. This will be a frustrating loss, but not as devastating as the first. And if they came back from that one, you feel they should surely have the wherewithal to find a way to come back in game three, but in game four. But that's going to be the crucial one, because you lose that and then it starts to feel like it's slipping away, and they will be desperate to equalize, to level the series out in game four.
The question is, how many times can you come back? Because even in coming back, that is so immensely draining to you, to your psyche, to your mentality. And I think the reason we keep harping on about that is at this high level, it is the minute details of the job, right? It's the very slow and methodical sort of way you want to approach the game, and the mental warfare at this level becomes a much bigger point as compared to just the physical achievements of what you can do on the pitch. It is all about in here. 90% of it is in here, and 10% of it is on the pitch.
And we made the point during this game is that Relentless have been matching Akimbo. So the games they've lost, they haven't been walked over. They might have been disappointed. There were a couple of plays in this last game where you feel like, that kickoff goal would have been frustrating. And It comes down to the mentality and how that translates to their stamina. And no doubt Akimbo are going to be feeling pretty good about themselves, and that they know in their mind, I think they will believe that if they can take this next game, they will take the one after that and take the series. Kind of getting your in a wrestling analogy, they sort of they will have their opponents in a headlock if they can take this game. And reversely, Relentless will know that too, and will know that they have to pick themselves up here and sort of lay down the gauntlet for themselves and for Akimbo.
I mean, giving up is not an option, right? It's still a long series. We have minimum 2 games remaining, maximum of 5 games still left to be played. And if Relentless at the scoreline of 2-1 in this series were to say, no, lads, it's lost, I don't think either of them are that way. They're competitors. They're true, and in the truest sense, competitors. They will live for just trying to combat something, live to overcome a hurdle that no one thinks is overcomable for them.
Well, they're all, I know Zany at one stage was putting in like 50 hours a week of Rocket League. So he's used to those long grinds. There is the element of competition and the extra pressure of, you're playing on stream, you're shooting for a top 6 spot. So there is all of that. But these guys know how to grind out this game of Rocket League. So yeah, it's certainly not a question of giving up. But the point about mentality in Rocket League is not lost, because it is, the seeds of doubt grow into flowers of doubt, and you don't want it. But here we are, game 4, and away they go. Massive demo on kickoff, but Relentless don't get possession from it, and it's an insta goal from Youngstar. Akimbo in front.
The kickoff strategy from Relentless, it backfires, and Youngster will make them pay. Double tap it down underneath his defender from Relentless. Akimbo take an early lead here in game number 4. That's exactly what they wanted and what they needed.
They might have an opportunity here. Vesh got to do some defensive work. He does do it. Star will keep it there and thereabouts. Energizer goes into the air. What a shot! What a finish! Wonderful finish. Equal game.
104 kph, and I'm gonna be honest, it looked a lot quicker than that. But still an absolute missile ranging down, and Relentless once more, in form of their Star Strike Energizer, find an equalizer.
Oh man, that was, when the timing is perfect, he clattered that as he was coming out of his flip. It was just excellent timing. Star, there's been a demo. The net's open. I don't know if Star can get. Oh, he tries to pass it in front and manages to pinch it out back to the halfway line. Energizer trying desperately to keep it there and thereabouts. Wonderful bit of play there from Relentless, but it doesn't work out for them just yet.
Not quite, but still, this is dangerous, Vesh. Certainly not a touch he would have wanted. And Star's got an open net. No, Zany's gonna turn on it. The youngin' for Relentless takes charge and takes the lead.
And reminiscent of a Bryza goal all the way back in game 1, where he kind of just stole it away from the defender, going between 2 defenders. Zany, eyes lit up and knew that they didn't have it under control, and opportunistic goal, and it gets Relentless in front.
We've spoken so much about the mentality that needs to be there. We've spoken so much about the mental fortitude that you need, and Relentless certainly showing up and showing that they have everything that it takes. Yeah, in game number 4, trying to equalize the series. Create 2-all scoreline. Zany, another shot, and that's a dunk from Energizer!
Man, oh man, Energizer is having a sensational series.
Nothing more to be added to that one. I can't. I'm sorry, but yeah, that is out of that is how many goals now for Energizer? I think if I counted it correctly, it's 8. I think he's averaging 2 goals a game, which is beyond ridiculous.
Yeah, wonderful stuff from him, and Relentless are going to have to give a huge shout out to him if they go on to win the series, but there's still plenty work to be done. Energizer again! This man's on fire. He's lost all sense of normalcy. Sets it up himself. Passes off the ceiling to get the 4th goal for Relentless.
And if someone is as on form and on fire as Energizer is, you need to feed him the balls, and that's exactly what Star and Zany have recognized. Give the ball to Energizer in the offensive third, and good things are going to happen to you.
But it's not all going Relentless's way. Youngstar pass forward, and how's that pinch? I mean, that 50 shot up to the ceiling, down, and Youngstar for the tap-in.
And that's an asinine read to make for Star there at the front post. That, as a defender, you've been in this situation so many times, but still having the read, having the quickness of the read, certainly very, very difficult. But there comes Youngstar, hat-trick hero himself.
So how many goals do Relentless need to go in front to feel like, okay, this is comfortable now? They had a 3-goal lead. Suddenly it's now a squeaky 1-goal lead.
I don't think the number of goals exists in this series to be ever comfortable. I've got to be honest with you. That number might be infinity.
What was the goal count in game 1? Was it 9?
9.
Oh, Energizer. Well, okay. I'll just get a 4th goal.
What is going on? Let's take a step back and look at this again. It is completely ridiculous. Once again, how have we abandoned all sense of decency, all sense of defense? We've been in here for 2 minutes, and it's 8 goals scored.
And there's no sense of it being a comfortable lead. We were just talking about this. 2 goals it is just not enough to be comfortable. You'd feel like a 6-goal lead. They might go, okay, we might have it. Oh no, here we go. It's back to a 1-goal lead.
We might be on course for an RLCS record of the most goals scored in a singular game if these teams keep going at it. You can see the fatigue setting in there for Vesh and Youngstar on the left-hand side. It is actually just scrubbing your eyes and thinking, what is going on?
What was the goal count in game 1? Was it 9?
It was 9. Oh! Yeah, we just surpassed that.
Well, we're at 10 now.
The thing is, normally, right, at a time like this, we want to critique the players of being like, okay, come on, now, let's take this serious. But the fact of the matter is, after every kickoff, it's such a strong win for one of the 2 teams that in this already volatile period where none of the players have a lot of boost to work with, none of the players are correctly positioned, that it's nearly undefendable. And that is why we are seeing 10 goals.
And you feel none of these teams are taking control of the game. Everyone's scoring, but Relentless now. This is what, their 3rd 2-goal lead. You feel they need to be the ones to go, okay, hold on, guys, take a breath here. Let's start playing some proper, solid Rocket League. Let's get our rotations right. Let's get our defense right, and not keep giving up goals. Hold on to our lead. They do there, but only just.
Only just, and it took an immaculate save there from Zany to keep the deficit, to keep the lead at 2, but it's still very awkward for Relentless on defense. Bryzer just lobs against the backboard. Zany will clear it away, a bit of normalcy into this very Zany game. But a game that will continue to throw spanners in the works left, right, and center.
If my maths are correct, it's 26 goals in this series so far. And this is game 4. That is just wild.
That is, beyond anything we've seen for at least the past 2 years. This series certainly very high up there in terms of the entertainment factor. What a save from Vesh!
And you know what's amazing? With 10 goals scored, that's the first time we've heard the crossbar ping.
That might be an open net. That might be open. It is 11.
Number 11. Oh man, from what looked like was killing the last man back. 3rd man was dead. Zany and Energizer, I think, upfield had no hope of getting back in time.
Again, it's off the ball play from Vesh. It's been really, really, really strong from him for Akimbo, opening up the lane once more, but still deficit remains just only at 1 goal here. Might be 2 again. Zane's shot just barely wide. Another bump being attempted there from Youngster, but he ends up being on the receiving end of one. 30 seconds, the last offense for Akimbo has to come here and now.
Yeah, and you feel this, given how this game has gone, it's a vital one for Relentless, because if they lose this, that I think will finally break them. There's an open net. Bryza spawned back in from the demo, but Energizer will get there for goal number 5.
5th goal this game for Energizer, but again, it's a demolition that opened up the lane. I think Zany it was demoing Bryza away, and the respawning German wasn't quick enough to get back. Surely, with 11 seconds, 2 goals is enough of a lead. Hold that thought. There's again looking for the demo, but twice the crossbar denies.
And we hear the ping for the second time, and Relentless have done it. It's been wild and crazy, but the series is level.
Speechless. I am utterly speechless.
That has got to be one of the most entertaining games of Rocket League I've cast. That was just fantastic. I mean, it's madness at this level to have a 12-goal game. And normally, I mean, look, it's very unusual, but if you're calling a 12-goal game, it's normally you're looking at an 8-4 win, a 9-3, a 10-2 kind of scoreline. This was 5-7. This was close. It was crazy.
You rarely you get these runaway games like once in a fortnight, right? Where one team, okay, it's just everything goes into your favor. It ends up 7-0, 8-0 or something like that. But you never have that sort of thing where it really goes back and forth for both teams. That might be 1 in a million. I don't think I've ever personally in 5 years of casting this esport, I don't think I've ever seen a game that high scoring being that close.
And I'm not quite sure why you had to bring Fortnite into it, but okay.
Come on.
Let's shout out again for Energizer and the shift he is putting in for this team in this series. Just magnificent. But we are all squared away. We are guaranteed a game 6 at the very least. But this is the all-important game 5. The winner here goes to series point. They will have the they will be the first team. They will need just 1 win to secure this series and their place in the top 6.
That's a bit of important context, because let's not forget, these teams are fighting for their survival for the rest of, well, today and tomorrow, for the survival in the bracket. And that's going to be coming up at some point. I'm almost 100% certain that we won't see another 12-goal game, but with these two, you never know.
Well, let's keep in mind that first game was 9 goals. The second game was 2 goals. So yeah, so it's a little one extreme to the other. Too high or too low. It's kind of wild and crazy out there. But the opening minute has been in the context of this series. Calm and Star finds a net, and I think there was demo play. There was fake play. Zany went forward. Did he get the demo on Young Star? Yes, he did. And Vash couldn't get back. Relentless in front.
Zany got the demo. Star at the end of his own aerial also got another bump there on Vesh, I believe, to make sure that his opponent couldn't reach that ball. And I mean, Relentless take another lead. It's been the story of the series so far. Relentless take a lead and Akimbo having to fight back from behind, but honestly not minding that position at all.
And 1 goal is like half a goal, because I thought that was there. I thought it was done and dusted, but no, it's defended. Oh, not open on the other side. Youngstar struggling, low on boost, does have possession, and he will punt it orange side.
Nearly the immediate response once again from Akimbo. Relentless certainly have to keep their wits about them, as now Bryza has an opportunity to just bang it long. No one there to receive that long Hail Mary there on his side of Akimbo. Relentless trying to steer this ship into very calm waters, trying to take the chaos factor out of this series.
2 minutes down, Relentless with a 1-goal lead, which surely is not enough. Okay, Bryza gets a touch, but it's awkward. They're not getting. It's sort of reached a point with Akimbo with those sort of desperation clears, rather than when your team is synergized, they're calculated clears out, and they aren't right now, but they are getting it out. Oh, there's been a mistake. Star makes a bit of a hash of this. Big pressure for Akimbo, floating down in front. Zany's got no boost. Star gets the clear. And just as I was talking about Akimbo's sort of scrambling around, Relentless are doing the same. But of course, before I'm finished that, Relentless have pressure on the other side.
It's such a quick game. It's so easily going back and forth, isn't it? As Vesh now tasked with defensive duty, so is Youngster against Energizer. And Energizer will not be stopped. Second goal for Relentless.
Was that, who had the last touch on that?
It was an own goal, technically.
I think it was an own goal in the end. A little bit harsh and brutal. Maybe Vesh low on boost. He could have got it out. Bryza, though, panicking, gets the touch, but only into his own net. And certainly not a comfortable 2-goal lead, but an important 2-goal lead for Relentless.
Normally, this is about the time when I'd say, okay, 2 minutes, 2 goals. You could just start playing the clock now. You could use that time elapsing into the ether as your sort of fourth teammate. With these two, this might be the furthest away from the truth we could possibly get.
Yeah, I don't think it's in Relentless's nature right now to go, okay, guys, let's play smart. Let's just burn out the clock. They're just like full steam ahead, and it's gotten them into trouble. And let's not forget the 3-goal, 40-second torrent of goals in that game one. Massive demo, massive finish. 3 goals, and now we're at least in the neighborhood of a comfortable lead.
Zany gets a great dunk there on the Vesh as well. And then the demo to put the cherry on top. 3rd goal, and surely Relentless can't throw that one away.
Yeah, sure. MachtFISCH, you go with the surely. I'll just go, guys, hold on. Try and play solid Rocket League for the next 80 seconds, okay? You've got a 3-goal lead. You do not need to score, but you do need to keep possession of the ball. And if possible, keep it over in the blue side. Young Star! Oh, Energizer! Fantastic interception! Might have a goal, but no, Vesh gets back for the save.
Vesh get it once, can he get it twice? No, he cannot! Zany, 4th goal! And a bit of dejection there on the side of Akimbo.
All right, I'm calling it. I'm saying this is a comfortable lead.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's over, not by any means, but it's comfortable at least.
4 goals in a minute would be the mother of all comebacks. I mean, if any series, then of course it should be this one to supply us with that entertainment factor, but Akimbo in this game 5 look very much subdued, a shadow of the previous self. That 7-5 loss of game 4 might still be ringing and might still be in their mind.
All right, well, they're having to do some defensive work. They do it. It got nervy, it got close, but you don't want to give Akimbo any hope at this stage by giving up 1. Yeah, you'll still have a 3-goal lead, but it just sows that seed of doubt, and they're doing it well. And if they get a 4-goal shutout here, it would be fantastic for their confidence. It's not going to be a shutout. 3 goals, 23 seconds, 1 every 7 seconds. Have kickoffs in a game ever been more important than those coming up?
Whilst theoretically not impossible, it's practically improbable, is what we're going to call that one. As every single kickoff has to go the way of Akimbo, and this first one already doesn't. Vesh has to fight a lot. And in the end, it's Energizer. Oh, now with the smart slow play as well. Take time off the clock in the last 10 seconds have arisen. And this might be very much the deal for game number 5. Relentless fight momentum in this series. And Relentless will go on to match point.
What a fantastic game from Relentless. We spoke about, we expressed concern about their ability to keep pace, to have the stamina to keep going, and to recover from their losses. Massive disappointing game 1 loss and a frustrating and annoying game 3 loss. They have picked themselves up from that, and for the first time, they go ahead in the series. So with all of those factors, I mean, that's got to give their confidence and their momentum a massive boost. Akimbo, though, like we were saying about Relentless, certainly aren't going to be, oh, we've lost this, but Great work from Relentless, but more to be done.
And there's one thing I think that thus far we've overseen a tiny bit or undersold Relentless on, and that is their efficiency in offense. Every single game I think we've had, Relentless has had less shots than Akimbo, but they are consistently trying to outscore and getting more value from those few shots here are Relentless. So that is definitely one of the reasons why it's worked out. And it's evidently left an effect onto Akimbo, where they are now using their timeout. They get an extra 60 seconds to calm themselves down, to calm their nerves, and to talk with each other what they're going to change.
I've always had a question about the timeout. It is a valuable tool because given the frenetic nature of Rocket League, it goes so quickly, and that intense 5 minutes. And 5 minutes always seems short, but when you are locked in, it is tiring, and it's nice to have that extra minute. But my question is this: Team A calls a timeout. Team B's also getting a timeout, and yet I don't know. We say the timeout there's the timeout buff. You get some advantage. I've never understood why the other team is not getting equal advantage.
Because just speaking from a point of view of who gets to call the timeout, it's if you're on the receiving end of one, you think, okay, I'm going to adjust. I'm needing to adjust now. We can't continue playing like we did play because obviously they figured out how we're playing, so we have to change. I think that's more of a psychological factor as to why there is the statistically proven timeout buff. I think the team that using the timeout wins about 60 or 70% of the next game afterwards. So it is a buff, and I think it's precisely because, you just introduce some volatility into the opponent's psyche.
We are on Neo Tokyo, the venue for Game 6 in Best of Sevens, and for me, this is a map whose floor has been paved with the bones of broken dreams, because so many dreams die on Neo Tokyo. It is Game 6. Akimbo Esports have to win this to send it to go. Champions Field, what a disaster. Energizer saves his team because, that was a massive mistake. They survive for now, but they remain under pressure.
It's the graveyard of broken dreams here is Neo Tokyo, and might be the graveyard for Akimbo Esports in this Raleigh Open. 4-star shot is good! 1-0 Relentless!
Man, oh man, I think we are seeing a different side here. I wasn't 100% convinced with the inclusion of Energizer into this roster. We saw Star and Zany with Wilu last split struggling just to get to the top 16, not making any top 8s. And then Energizer, formerly of 77 blocks, a good player, but I think it's what he has brought in combination with his teammates has been fantastic, but the work's not done yet as I wax lyrical about Relentless and Energizer. They have conceded, and it's a tie game on Neo Tokyo.
Sometimes the whole is more than just the sum of its parts. I think that's precisely the case here for Energizer on Relentless, but nevertheless, it's the equalizer. Nevertheless, it's the lead. Quick little double for Youngstar.
And it's another kickoff goal, and man, what work from Youngstar here. Zany was there and thereabouts, but completely misread the bounce off the backboard, opening it up for Youngstar, and just like that, bang, bang, Akimbo have the lead, and Relentless need to chase it.
And we've seen this is not Relentless's favorite position, playing from behind, being the one that has to actively force the opponent into their own defensive half. But of course, if you've got a player like Energizer on this level as he's playing today, then I think any position is a fine one for you.
Zany maybe finding Star, touches it forward. Energizer, it's a 3-man team play. Doesn't result in a goal, but they have some territorial advantage, a bit of pressure, and they'll be looking to make that count. Energizer has to leave, runs out of boost. Zany's got full boost. It's a pass, but it's awkward. Youngstar trying to get around it, doesn't. And it could have got very, very awkward for Relentless. They do survive it and might have an opportunity now.
Still very awkward here for Akimbo now, though. On the other hand, a lot of short rotations, a lot of times players having to come in at the sort of last second. As Relentless is trying to put up some of that pressure. Energizer looking for Star on the right flank, but can't find his English teammate.
Zany controls it into his corner. He's got no boost. Looking for the pass. Does find it. It wasn't intercepted. No. And yes, Vesh has to do some acrobatic work to save that off his crossbar. And now shot on net, but it is too weak. Oh, Energizer will be frustrated. Golden opportunity to level the game, but couldn't find the timing that he's had so beautifully all game. But Star might get it done now.
Still, the defense of Akimbo holds firm. Zany towards the back bottom where he only finds Bryza. Star comes in for a second pick of the cherry, but there is Vesh. It's just very well coordinated on defense from Akimbo. Relentless is trying to find ways through, but certainly they can't find them. And on the other side, Bryza is there. Lead enabled, lead doubled.
I think they might be turning on the lights over on Champions Field. It's starting to feel like we might be going there to the distance, the game 7. And every time Relentless, we've spoken about their leads not being comfortable. But as you've quite pointed out, Relentless have not enjoyed being behind. They've struggled to get themselves back from a position where they're behind. And so I think it's harder for them to find the equalizer 2 goals out than it was for Akimbo.
But still, with how the series has unfolded, I wouldn't put it past Relentless now turning it up to 11 and actually finding the 2 goals they need, but not like that. Whiffs left, right, and center. Coming out in front of that blue goal. Stars touches a little bit too far, but hang on, there's Zany with an opportunity to shot. He went for placement, but it was slightly off.
And then we've seen a Zany miss, we've seen an Energizer miss, and that doesn't bode well. You spoke about their efficiency. They haven't been teams to miss nets, and finally they do find it. They've given themselves work to do in the end, but we saw from game 1 the duo of Energizer and Zany. It comes out to play at Neo Tokyo. They've given themselves a chance.
26 seconds worth of chances for Relentless. The kickoff that will once again go into their favor, but this time no goals resulting off of it. As Bryza takes control, checks it slow into the air. Only 10 seconds. This is now Relentless's final stand here on Neo Tokyo, but they are already being beaten back, nearly the decider.
And Bryza will just want to keep it there. Energizer punts it forward. Someone needs to get onto it. It's not there. It's grounded. We are headed to Champions Field, 3 each. We will have a series winner in just over 5 minutes' time.
But before that, those 5 minutes, Greybeard, they're going to be the most nervy 5 minutes for these 6 players that they had to this day. Everything that happened before in the series, the craziness of games 1 and 4, the comebacks, the kickoff goals, the endless goal-scoring opportunities, everything that happened is now absolutely irrelevant. All that matters are the upcoming 5 minutes.
Well, it's all, the word sweaty gets thrown around far too loosely. We talk about sweaty games, a sweaty finish, a sweaty this. But this is Game 7 in a best of 7 in an RLCS championship, looking for a slot in the top 6. It is literally sweaty. I have no doubt a number of these players have got a towel handy to wipe those hands because they seriously do get sweaty. Clammy hands all the way on Champions Field.
I mean, I know I've got a towel by my side. I'm already sweating. I'm just here watching it, right? I can't imagine what the players are feeling. It must be absolutely absurd. But now we get into the finer details of this Game 7, and we get to the one important thing, and that is Champions Field. Nowhere else is a goal worth more. Nowhere else is a good save worth more than in this very arena where the champions of Rocket League are commemorated. This is Game 7.
And surprisingly in this series, we've not had an overtime. And wouldn't it be something to be blessed with? The Game 7 overtime, Zany, very heavy first touch, puts his team under huge pressure. They survive it for now, but they don't have possession. They do now. The shot on. Oh, it's a miss. Star will find the net, and he will be just as surprised as everyone else to get a goal off that. And it is Vesh who makes a hash of his defensive work and puts his team behind.
An opportunistic shot from midfield goes all the way into that blue net. Relentless in the position where they find themselves more often than not in this series in the lead. But hang on, here's Akimbo not finding the goal.
And I think if we analyze this, we'll see Relentless conceding an equalizing goal, most commonly right off kickoff. They almost do it there. They've survived it for now, but they are the team still under pressure. From that kickoff, they haven't gotten into a comfortable position outside of their half. They're looking to do it now. But now there's an open net, there's a bump, there's a second goal for Relentless.
Let's look at the replay one more time, because how has this happened? Youngster just leads it into the center, and then, as you say, the bump there from Zany onto Vesh, absolutely crucial to opening the way to getting that second goal over the line.
Kickoff.
Akimbo now down by 2, but you could immediately see it there, Greybeard. The threat was there after the kickoff.
Oh man, my heart is in my mouth for Relentless every time there's a kickoff. And at the risk of flogging that dead horse, it is a 2-goal lead once more for Relentless. We made the point on Neo Tokyo. They are far more comfortable playing from a position of strength when they are slightly ahead, which is not to say they're not a little fragile at times after that 11 goal madness back in game 4, I think it was. But this is a position they would much rather be in.
This is a position of strength that Relentless need. Let's not forget they are hunting for their best ever season finish. Already having achieved the top 8, but don't want to stop here. Top 6 on the cards, and of course survival on the cards. The loser of this game is also eliminated from this open. So, Akimbo, 3 minutes. What can you do?
3 minutes, so much time so far. Relentless, and they haven't seemed a team that, you know, there are teams that are expert in burning time, in keeping possession, keeping territorial advantage. Relentless have not shown them to be that kind of team. They're, you know, quite happy to keep thrusting forward, to keep pushing. And that's the only thing that's making me nervous, as they are under pressure in front of their net. Vesh might have an opportunity. No, leaves it. Shot is wide. The trouble not over yet. Vesh's shot doesn't come off. Half cleared through the corner. And this is where Relentless can look a little breakable, but they do find their way out over onto the blue half.
And that chance originally came when, well, Relentless didn't have any pressure on them. They would just create a pressure between themselves. As now Bryza gets past Zany, Energizer though there to help out his teammate. 1 minute already burned off the clock to remain. They're smashed with the crossbar eyes.
Did you hear the ping? I'm not sure. Oh, but it's going to go in anyway. Vesh finds the one. Oh, and with these two teams, you just don't know. Bryza with the touch in, and Vesh coming out on his rotation out, 0 boost, backflips it for the 1-goal halving of the deficit.
The little doink, he jumped there from Vesh. You generate just enough power for the 1 goal, but that's only 1. They need a second here. Bryza fights a massive dunk. Energizer has been the star on offense thus far, but in this game, he's been much more the star defensively for Relentless.
Yeah, definitely quiet up front. And you feel like you want to see that zany Energizer duo find themselves. If you cast your mind all the way back to game 1 where they were lethal in combination. But right now they're doing their scramble, relentless defending. And so far it's working, but with only 1 goal, you know, at this stage as a player, you look up at the clock and you're like, how is it possible that there's still a minute to play here?
Especially from Relentless's POV, right? Akimbo is going to look at that clock and say, okay, lads, we still got a minute. We got to press forward, but there's a bit of time remaining. Bryza, that's going to be an awkward one for Energizer. He still beats Youngster to it. Zany make contact, but forces Bryza to drop down and drop back nonetheless. final stand here for Relentless. They're going to be pushed back. They're going to give it everything they have in defense. What a bump from Star.
More work to be done. The dunk might just put them into a position. No, it's come right back into their half. The ground pinch bounces up for the pass. This is now down in front of the net. The shot is there. 24 seconds and we're equalized. Maybe we're seeing a Game 7 overtime. But 24 seconds between these two teams, we could easily see 3 more goals here.
Pandemonium in the orange box. Akimbo and Relentless giving it everything they have, and Akimbo finally finding that equalizer. But as you say, I wouldn't trust overtime just yet.
No.
Zany misses Energizer, takes control.
Zany has got to bring out those backboard reads training packs before, if they make it through until tomorrow, because we've seen him 3 or 4 times miss there. We're 5 seconds of regulation. We're heading to overtime. Last effort will be from Akimbo. It's cleared long distance. It'll bounce. It is Game 7 overtime.
Nowhere is it more tense than on Champions Field. Bar that overtime. Golden goal. Tournament survival on the line.
There's the briefest of open nets. Bryza with 12 boost makes his way back. Vesh, though, will come and do some cleaning up. Youngstar with no boost gets a touch but dies for his efforts. Energizer and Zany a little bit clamped up. This is very dangerous. Heading toward the net. Down in front, they have to get a touch. It's scramble, it's panic, it's chaos. It's not in yet. They do get the clear by way of a double commit. And now they got to take a breath and reset themselves.
Oh, Bryza's a great touch up high. He's going to give him all the options he needs. Bryza with the reset. Bryza puts it through.
And it's heartbreak for Relentless. 42 seconds of overtime. It's a Bryza, and he will feel great about that because he had a defensive horror show for the conceding the second goal. And Akimbo, in dramatic fashion, go to the top 6.
What a fight it was for Akimbo. And I mean, it takes 2 teams to make a series this entertaining. And hats off to both Relentless and Akimbo for giving us the best possible show there is.
It was a wonderfully entertaining series of Rocket League, going all the way to overtime in Game 7. I'm enormously impressed with the Relentless team. They were fantastic to watch. They've certainly got things to work on, but there is so much potential there, and I'd love to see them bring it and bring it hard in the next Open. But in the meanwhile, Akimbo, with their sub Vesh, make it through to the top 6, and they will play once more tomorrow. Relentless done, but done only for now.
And done for this weekend, right? That's the only sort of caveat for Relentless, because next week when Open 5 qualifiers start, they're going to be there and they need to bring their A game once more. Certainly, now with a record of top 8, they have their sights set on at least equaling that.
So we spoke about the first series, gentlemen, and it was surprisingly not as close as we expected it to be. I kind of feel like this was surprisingly much closer than we expected it to be, Bromeo.
Man, and that was such a pleasant surprise. It was an incredible game. And I was having a look at the stats. I was keeping up as the game was going on. And just to note, the biggest goal scorer was Energizer with 11 goals. But this was from a Relentless scoring 23 to Akimbo's 20. So Akimbo coming out winner, but it was a punching match. 43 goals in 7 games.
Driver of the day
per
is...
game.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Macht?
That's 6 goals per game.
No, that's
ridiculous.
That's madness. I mean, at an RLCS level, absolute chaos, pandemonium, but my word, top tier entertainment for us in the booth and for everyone watching. Driver of the day is open every series. We have a driver of the day, so you can vote for who you think has had the most impact out there, who has done the best for their team. You can go to acgl.gg/vote and vote for your driver of the day. That is now open. We'll announce the winner at the end of the day. And certainly, Pyro, one of the contenders has got to be Energizer.
Oh, I think so, certainly. Not only was he scoring double-digit goals in that series, but at the point through games 1 and 6, shooting 50%. To have that kind of efficiency as well as getting all those goals. I mean, you sort of have to, but it still speaks to the precision and the shot quality to be able to score all of those goals. But I mean, the story has yet to be told, right? Although there was that standout performance, it is a team of Akimbo to move on. It is a team with Vesh, who we didn't expect to be fielded instead of Rubik's, who was able to take it in a clutch scenario. Usually in those high stakes environments, when it has to be a clutch team, you root into your foundation, all the work you've been putting into the team dynamic all season long. Instead, you have a team with this new substitute, and they were still able to push through. Really impressive.
Alrighty, well, we have an interview with Youngstar from Akimbo. So, Pyro, go and see what insights you can gain for us.
All right, I'll do my best. Youngstar, welcome to the interview box, and congratulations on your win. How's it feeling?
Thank you. Amazing.
Okay, I can imagine it is. Especially after a Game 7 OT, right? The emotions have to be flaring up. But yeah, Macht, I'll let you take it from here.
I mean, yeah, game 7 overtime. You DM'd me this morning saying, it's going to be an easy 4-1, trust. It really wasn't. Were you surprised by how well Relentless was playing?
Nah, we did it hard ourselves. Like, Relentless, they played the same always, and we were just like over-committing or double-committing too much, being too fast, too much forward. And at the end, like, yeah, it worked out. We adapted, and yeah, I don't know, hard game. Shouldn't be that hard.
I want to hear your thoughts, Youngstar, at the middle of the series, where there was a game where there was about 10 goals scored in the first half of the game. What was going on? Like, was it a mix of crazy kickoff strategies, some great shots, some misses on defense? Maybe it's a ping thing, or what was it that was happening for so many goals?
I just said to my teammates, "What is this shit show?" Like, I don't know. It was. Did we even win that game? Like, it was like 5 kickoff goals by them. And we scored 6 like normal goals, and we were like, well, what should we do? Like, kickoff goals are unsavable on high ping because you just have to shoot and we can't react. But at the end, we did it also. Like, I adapted and also just shot after the kickoff and scored some double taps. Maybe you saw that, and that worked good out.
I mean, hey, if it works for your opponent, it works for you, right? That's the sort of thing. Now, I want to talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow you're going to be playing the loser of Foot Esports or Cristobal Colon, so probably Cristobal Colon. Is there going to be anything special going on? Is Rubik's perhaps going to be there, or are you just going to pull through with Vesh now?
I think we have a lucky semi-final opponent if they lose Cristobal Colon, and then we have top 4 secured. I will jinx it now. And Rubik's, I don't know, he's feeling sick, like sickness going through his family. Now he got it as well, and I don't think he will be able to play tomorrow, and we play with Vesh again.
Okay. I do have one more question I'm really curious about, Youngstar. So what kind of challenges and adjustments did the team have to make to incorporate Vesh this weekend?
We didn't adapt. We just played. It worked out. I feel like I played a bit more third man like Rubik's. And yeah, I mean, I played this game 7 hours past 2. We just play for the passion, for the fun. And that's what we're here for.
Okay, whoever's fielded out there, you're just playing your game, doing it the best you can. Well, you did it the best you can, and it was definitely good enough, Youngstar. Congratulations on your win, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We have our top 6 secured, 77 blocks, and now Relentless make their way out of the tournament. Labos and Akimbo make their way into the top 6. They will be in action again tomorrow. And now we turn our attention to the top bracket. So there are no more elimination matches today. The teams for the last 2 series, the teams that lose, will be in action again tomorrow against Akimbo Esports and Labos.